morning. I'm here.
Here's a message of importance to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out, weak and run down. Doctors will tell you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of iron. The iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women and many, many men lack the daily iron your body requires in a form your body can easily use and put to work. Every dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement.
We are the way. We are the way. We are not alone. We are striving for more.
So if you're not getting the iron your body needs,
We are the way.
if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset, start taking iron today.
Thank God it's Friday.
The 13th.
It's Friday, my
The 13th.
dudes.
Happy Friday, my friend.
God damn it, too fast. But it's Friday the 13th. Welcome to Sphere, right here on the Iron Will Media YouTube channel. My name is Josh Corey. Jesus, ain't nothing going right, but I am here. We are here, and we have got a show for you today. It's going to be a good one. Let's say hello to everybody, starting off with Mrs. Cami Knodel, because, well, of the panel, she's my absolute favorite female. Cami, how in the hell are you?
Oh, in Dreamland, it's doing all right. It's Friday again, Friday the 13th. Been a quiet week. We've revisited The Lord of the Rings for the first time since it came out originally. I think, what was it, 2001, 2002, that group there. And so I've been kind of going into that and seeing the different references and playing it there. Are we allowed to share screens this week, Josh, or are you
I
the
think
all-powerful?
everybody already has power.
Really?
Push the button, Josh.
Oh,
No, I think
son of a
I have
bitch.
I have the power, but let me get the screen up to share.
No,
Now,
he knows what button I'm talking about.
what's that button?
The Rockfin button.
Ah. All right. Now let's see if I can do. Damn, I just we were talking about it earlier. I may or may not be able to do this. They updated me, and I now know how to work no buttons on my computer again.
Right? Because you called like every other day, sent emails bitching about, man, this thing needs an update to fix everything that's wrong because I don't like the way I can do everything I need to on it like that now.
I can find my files. I know how to turn it on and up.
So please fuck that all up for me. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
No, I like that because that's just where I am. But yeah, with reading this, I'm going in and going through the Tolkien mythology, and I don't know if it, again, I could be really late in the game doing this, but you'll notice on their second age, they had their flat land, and they changed it to a spherical world. in the third age, remember the elves sailed the straight road directly to the west. If you think about how the meanings of east and west have more direction
I don't know why
when you
I
start
don't
doing the
know this.
magnetics. But I'll also tell you too that, like, again, if this is the sorcerer's trick, how would you change the flat into the round? You would change the skies. You would have to change the skies and what you're looking at. Because if you think of sorcery and illusion and what they do, but they tell you right in here where they change it from the flat world in the second age, and the elves sailing across and locking it, and that's where they did the mental round world of the third age.
So now, because I don't know this, did they do this like in a physical way?
Well, they're saying in a physical, but
philosophical
it would be if it's done through sorcery, it would be done through an illusion, would be
That's what
my
I'm saying.
thinking. And you'll read at the bottom, the downfall of Numenor. If people revisit Numenor, also called Elena Nor or Westernness, is a fictional place in Tolkien's writings. It was the kingdom occupying a large island to the west of Middle Earth. Remember, the pull off of the chart when we look at the poles again, the main setting of Tolkien's writings, and it was the greatest civilization of men. These men of Numenor, you'll remember because the king, Return of the King, and remember how old he is. He was the last of the Numenor humans, the ones that lived had the long lifespans. Remember, before the lifespans on the other ones got
It's been too long, truly. I haven't seen the movies since. I don't think I even finished one of them on DVD. I think the last time I watched them fully was in the theater. Now, that
is your mic facing the right way, Walter? I'm sorry.
Actually, I moved it. I'm sorry. I was doing things. Is that better?
Numenor was the king.
Better?
I think so. Whatever.
I moved it. I did. I had swung it around, messing with the cat, and didn't realize it. Sorry.
Huh.
Is that good? I'll move it again.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I had seen it probably the first one I saw probably 5 times at the theater because I had a guy that was the theater owner next door to my arcade. And for me to pick up his film cans in the daytime for the drop off, he let me and my employees see all the movies anytime we wanted, many times as we wanted. And he was the biggest geek ever. We saw Spider-Man the night before it came out. We saw the Lord of the Rings movies the nights before they came out. As soon as he got the cans, he loaded them for us. So yeah, I saw it a few times then. But the books is what I need to revisit, I think, now.
Yeah.
Because this is pretty huge.
I've been thinking I need to revisit the books the last couple
That's
weeks.
high school. That's been since high school.
Oh, really?
That was only 15 years ago.
Like when the movies came out, I read all 4.
I thought about doing it, but there was so much going on in my life during that time. The arcade, managing it, had all these employees and shit under me. It was crazy life. My son was
then the second movie came out the next year, and I read all 4. And when the third movie came out, guess what I did? I read all 4.
Shit.
Yeah, I was like,
awesome, dude.
I've read all 4 of those books probably 10 or 12 times.
Oh, that's awesome.
I read them in high school, and then I saw the movies as they came out, and now I'm revisiting it as a flat earther, and it falls upon every bit of mythology, biblical and things. Again, if you even take things, I mean, there are a lot of differences or what I would call dichotomies in it. Like if you took the elves and I don't know, this is not meant to be, it's just again like things that were catching my eye when they talk about the Elohim or the elves, again doing your elf on there and mixing with it. You'll notice that in the Bible it was the men that found the women fair, but you'll notice in the Lord of the Rings it's the women that seem to fall for the men. Like Aragorn, if you look at,
have you looked at Aragorn? I mean,
right, and Aragorn is the king. Aragorn was a Numenor. Aragorn was a Numenor. He was the last of the Numenor line, the long-lived man race. And the downfall of Numenor and the changing of the world. Now, they write the shapes and the continents are purely schematic, but yeah, this is something that I'm taking Martin off of there, but this one because it does folklore, legend, and all kinds of fun artwork. But you'll see our artwork seems to look a lot like our artwork and the islands. But that was fun stuff. But yeah, Friday Dreamland revisiting. We're doing the 2 towers tonight. We went through we went through the movies because Bob and I we're going to.
Is
Go
this
ahead.
the theatrical version or the extended? Oh my God, I have no life, so I need a sandwich and a
This is
meal for
the
this, and it's going to be 8 hours of my life gone because it's the director's
extended,
super
yeah.
duper cut.
Fuck
Oh
yeah.
It is the director's super duper fuck you what cut, but we don't
Right.
sit
Who
and
needs a live
watch.
cut?
Yeah, we are, like, in other words, the 4-hour movies. We're
I
watching it
own
in
them and
2
haven't
night
finished them. That's the
stretches.
sad part. They're sitting
Yeah.
right over there on my DVD
Uh-huh.
rack, and I never finished them. It was just too much time to put
Yeah.
in for me sitting in front of that screen during that period of my non-screen life.
That would
Because
be for
working at
me,
the
except
arcade
for
made me hate screens more than ever. And where we were
yeah.
living, we didn't have access to cable. So it was the perfect time to disconnect from screens completely. So the only screens I ever had were the ones I worked on and the huge one at the arcade. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm talking all over you. Hi, everybody. I'm Walt, by the way.
Hey, well, no, I agree with you 100%, and that's how I feel about screen time. And I am doing this in pieces and trying to go outside and limit it. But the screen time is intriguing because it's pulling me back and matching up the book with, again, all kinds of different mythologies and biblical works and all kinds of different writings. And it's like, are we being programmed with the same information through everything, or are people? I'm more likely to believe, are people having like dreams and they keep on? I mean, these are the same stories. This is the same story as Star Wars. This is the same.
Well, we've talked about the limited number of
Mhm.
stories. Plus, if
There
you
are the
look at
limited number of stories, but
Campbell's theories,
you get into that. But there's something more. There's something more
right?
with a lot of the
Ironically
elements.
enough, about I guess it's been 4 or
The
5
two
months ago
towers,
now.
remember? Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Michelle bought me a book at a garage sale and not having a clue what it was. She thought it was about Hollow Earth. And so she grabbed it because it looked real textbooky. And it was actually about Middle Earth. And that's what she thought it was about, was the middle of the earth, Hollow Earth stuff. And it's actually about all this. So maybe I need to go dig into that little thesis type
That
breakdown of it all because it's
that you
sitting
do,
right in there.
because
I
if you
just
go
haven't
back to,
read
like,
it.
yeah, the Sephirot, or go back to the different layers of Sheol, where we are now, Gaia, as we call it, the first heaven, the second heaven, and everything. Where we are would be Middle Earth. If you called the whole thing, in other words, you could very easily say that where we are, even in an up and down or a side to side, could be a Middle Earth on it. But yeah, I would. It's way different than concave Earth. It's not. We're not living on the inside of like an eggshell or a shell. It's layering. It's a little bit of a different concept when working with physics and reality, and that, because I do believe we're working with reality. But you were introducing me and we're starting a show, and how far are we into it? I went greedy with that. Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to Iron Realm Media. And Josh, take the mic away from me.
Yeah, we made it about as far as you. But that's all right. That's exactly why I like to call on you first, because you've got so much
You
good
got me
stuff.
excited, so I hopped in unannounced. My apologies.
My son was coming in to tell me goodbye, and I was so excited about the conversation. I had to tell him about it because he's a big Tolkien fan. He's gone through and read the Silmarillion and some of the other works that he's done that went beyond, above and beyond.
Right. See, and I've forgotten about all the extras.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Dune books. Once you dive in, you can go deep.
And even he was saying he's a really weird guy. There's a lot of really, really weird religious stuff and political stuff in there. So, yep. It's good stuff.
And I think there's a reason so many people are drawn to it. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'll call this I've been introduced. My week was what you guys have heard. Nothing interesting that I won't share as we go along. Tomorrow's the 14th. Enjoy that. That's about it.
Tomorrow is the 14th. I'd be damned if yesterday wasn't the 12th. Let's say hello to Mr. Zachary Zabala. I know him as Z Squared. You might know him as Good Times for All here on YouTube, spelled GUDTIMS, number 4 ALL. Throw in a few extra characters if you want. You'll never find it anyway. Zach, how in the hell are you?
Not too shabby. Excited for the show tonight. I love having Martin on. It's been too long.
It has been too long.
Yeah. And just on Tolkien real quick, I dropped a link in chat. I can drop it I'll drop it in there again right now, but it's what's the name of this channel? Tolkien Untangled. And it's all about going into, like, it goes through the Lord of the Rings movies, like when in the ages that was supposed to take place. It goes through like when Sauron was really here. I mean, it goes through a bunch of his unpublished stuff because he wrote a bunch of books that he never finished, I guess. But yeah, he goes through like all the history of Tolkien and all his unwritten works and all this stuff. I guess they put out a bunch of his unwritten stuff after he passed away because, of course, he wasn't going to finish it. But yeah, Tolkien Untangled. It's really neat. If you like Tolkien, it goes into turning it into actual history, not just stories. And it shows like whereabouts he got this information from. Really neat stuff.
Do me a favor, Zack, and drop that in a chat in which I can access it. Restream won't let you click on links, won't let you really do much with individual messages in the chat. So I see them come through, but I'd be damned if I can't click a link. So there's that.
Drop it in right now.
Many thanks. I will say my week has gone quietly, which, given recent events, is about the best I could hope for. Nice quiet week. It's about damn time. My dog was a little sick. Had me a little worried when I got home last night, coughing and breathing real shallow, and that got me a little nervous given the sudden and unexpected, untimely death of my little rabbit. Once my dog started going, I just saw me spiraling out of control and my whole world coming undone. But I got myself pulled back together and made it through the night, mostly. I finally did get out of bed at 2 a.m. so that I could go check on her, make sure she's still alive. But that's all right, because I had to show at 4, so it worked out well. But I am super appreciative of everybody there in chat and everybody here on this call, hell, Martin included, because I know there's always positive vibes coming, and especially as of late, I've had to draw upon and use those positive vibes, and it's been just a real comfort knowing y'all are here making that possible. So many thanks. And a nice quiet week is much appreciated, and I owe it in no small part to you guys and my wife and dogs. That's it. Let's get right into it. We're going to say hello to Mr. Martin Liedtke. Martin's been on here a whole host of times, to the point that it's not even really a guest at this point. We're just friends hanging out. It's just a call you guys get to hang out and watch. So I think this is going to be a really good conversation. And it's been a while since we've got to talk to Martin. Martin, how in the hell are you?
Good. Feeling good. Feeling well.
Awesome.
Feeling energized and ready for the bullshittery of 2023. But I am stoked about this show, and a bit of a sync with what Cami was just showing. Because I know I always say I'm going to blow your mind. Don't know. But I think this might. I'll just show you a little bit later something that I found, which is mad interesting. Wait, you see it?
I gotta ask. I've been wondering, how is boat life?
Boat life is on hold at the moment because like winter has bited hard this winter. It's been horrible. Got more cold weather coming. But just getting like prepared. My son's like been doing 3D printing some parts that he can't really order. So we just 3D prints everything now. So we're just like getting ready really for spring things. So can't really do much in this weather, honestly. It's just
What's the end of the year? You're still waiting for the new year to start, so you can just start everything new. I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Get files in order. You know it. So yeah, super excited. Got some amazing stuff that I wanted to share with you that will blow your mind. Yeah, later that you'll like. You can be, all of you.
Nope, I dig it. That's one of the main reasons we love having you on, because it's always such a mind bender. Always come out just a little more twisted than when I came in.
So I do agree that it's going to be especially Cami, because I really do like this a lot. And for the Tolkien people too, it was like Lorien and Kate Blanchett that played the Lady of Lorien, and that would be where our physical North Pole would be in the center of the map is the way it's drawn. But keep going. That just popped in my mind, so I had to say it.
Galadriel, for what it's worth, I believe was her name.
Thank you. beautiful. And you're right.
I think Galorian is a band name, and I'm
Say
calling
her
it.
name again. Say her name again.
Galadriel.
Gadriel.
Galad. Like it's
Galad.
two
Galad
syllables.
instead of- okay.
Galadriel.
Wait, wrong movie.
Beautiful character. Beautiful character. I'm enjoying her in the movies a lot. So I'm sorry I went off topic. I do that, Martin, and I appreciate because you do the same. So you're right. I'm going to enjoy this so much. You go where your heart takes you.
I'm an alpha. I'm an elf.
Mhm.
Well, we all are because we are ourselves. Ourself is elf, or ourselves is elves. So I think there's dwarfs, there's giants. So where are the elves? Ourselves. So I think they're telling us. And I've been told by another elfling creature, because of my elf years. Oh my God, she went. You're an elfling, because I look a bit like, remember the Dark Crystal, the Skeltsin?
Yeah.
I thought I was an elfling, or me and my dad, because we each have one like little pointed ear, and the other ear is not pointed at the top. So we were halflings. But yeah, we made jokes about the half elf and the pointed ear thing. So that's been a family joke for ever. But
I
not.
still have a weird feeling, like back in the Bible, like Genesis 1, it talks about who created man. And yeah, if you look at the King James version or more modern versions that were, translated all these times, it talks about God and Lord. And if you go back to the Hebrew version, it talks about Jehovah, and then the Lord is the Elohim, which is a plural word, which is like, and the Elohim are the ones who created man in their image. So did the elves create man?
Well, isn't Lord and Elohim almost synonymous? Isn't that like just saying the six are the half dozen?
But yeah, but Elohim is a plural word. It's not talking about like the one.
Well, in the New Testament version, it's create man in our likeness, and it's a group that speaks of it, and it's talked about that way. And the word was the beginning, and all that doesn't happen until the New Testament version of it.
Yeah,
I remember it's anyway, and that's been too long ago. Good Lord, it's been long ago since I've read through that bad boy. But when I did read through it, it was numerous times, and went to school about it for quite a while.
I am reading
Oh, with many
through it.
professors over it. I'm sorry, Cami, what?
I'm reading through it, so I'm not really reading through it, but every Saturday morning, Karen B and just Jack do a show.
I knew that was happening and like wanted to get into it, and I figure I'm so far behind now.
No, jumping, because you can jump back on any chapters
anywhere.
and do it. Jump
Yeah.
in anywhere, jump in any time. But what they're doing, it's anti-religious scripture study, and it's just taking all the Hebrew base words, breaking it down, giving the possible that this word could mean grapes, it could mean a grouping, it could mean this. Instead of reading it translated, you're reading it concordance.
I had quite a few annotated versions over the years as well that are allegedly, clarified a bunch, and nah, they didn't. They were just guessing as much as everybody else was.
But with this one, you can almost read it and
I want to get
it's
to
almost
this. Yeah, I'm just saying. Over the years, trying to do that with the mainstream's attempt at it has been a joke. Because they can't really go outside much of the accepted crowd.
The Karen and Jack combo is some type of magic in a way, because of the fact that Jack is he's been setting it it's been his lifetime passion, and he's so intense. So when he comes at you, it's like not just one truck, it's like a fleet of trucks coming at you and plowing you over, and reaching out and plunging for air, because he wants to give you so much information, so strongly, and he's so into it. And he has Karen read it instead and answers the questions. He's got the information and the passion and all the possibilities and the light, but Karen brings some peace and some calmness that you can take all of his brilliant information and filter it, and almost again you can sit and make your own judgments. And reading the Bible, I can tell you that I'm reading it differently than Jack, and I can tell you that Karen is reading it differently than me. And again, this is, I think it's meant to be that way. I think it's meant in a way for it, but I know that reading it, growing up Catholic, which was not reading the Bible, and reading it concordant style and seeing these pieces, these aren't the same books at all. I mean, it's not the same story at all. So it's an interesting, again, no wonder the Catholics didn't really want you to read the Bible, because if you didn't thought about it, it's like, wait,
We're not supposed to be going to your church.
we're not supposed to be, yeah, this is.
No, you read it wrong. The problem is you didn't hear me tell it to you in a different language.
And always what got me some was the creepiness of is why are we drinking blood and eating flesh in a building? I mean, that's just creepy when you do communion.
Or not, why are we? But wait, you think this is real?
Yeah.
You think this is like real blood, and now it's real human flesh that I'm eating? This wafer becomes real human flesh.
But it's not. It's like it was really good. I mean, I actually like the wine, and I like the taste of that. The way that the wafers, I tried to get extra wafers. I mean, they have a
double dipping on communion.
I had more than double dipping on communion wafer. They've got an interesting taste.
Some of them rice cakes.
Yeah, they're kind of like styrofoam rice cakes in a way, but they melt in your mouth, and they've got they were, I liked them for all the wrong reasons, but yeah, not because they tasted anything like flesh or if anything.
Well, that's the beauty of transubstantiation, is I don't think it actually transubstantiates until it reaches past your taste buds. So it's going to taste like wine and taste like wafer, but once it gets past there, that's when it becomes actual blood and actual human flesh. No, probably not human, right? Because I guess it's God, so it's Jesus's flesh and all of that encompasses, however you want to define that Trinity. So yeah, blood and flesh of Jesus Christ himself is what it becomes once you put it past your throat, apparently.
Well, here's what's nice. I grew up as like Baptist. My grandfather, Baptist preacher. I was playing in the pews, grew up that way until I was about 8 or 9. Started asking a lot of questions they weren't ready for. By 10 or 11, I was like over it, getting my way into a whole different path. But I, in that whole time in that Baptist church, there was never a communion or anything like that. In fact, anything that smacked of that was considered like hoodoo, like crazy magic, crazy people stuff. Like that was culty. I mean, like that's what the thought was for people that were like Catholic and probably, they were not normal. They were weird. And that's what I grew up thinking too, a little bit. And then I actually went to a Catholic church with a buddy of mine when I was about, I guess, 13. And my brain leaked through my ear, and there are all these things on the ground and getting up and down. And I'm like, what? And then my dad lost his mind when I was about 14, I guess, quit the Masons, built a church. We started having to go to church all the time. And this little tiny mission Baptist church here in South Louisiana would do a communion during the Easter holidays. And I'm like, what the fuck are you people doing? Y'all are putting devil magic into the church here. Is how I felt, because that's what I'd been raised to think. Yeah, it's pretty nuts when you think about what the programming is from childbirth up, and you're programmed with it. It's your script. So yeah, it took me quite a while to work my way through all of that madness.
Well, yeah, as growing up with it, it was strange because it was the norm to go to a church on, you had to go with your parents. It was punishment as a child. At Sunday, you have to go to church. And I went to a Catholic school for a few years, and my parents wound up taking, there was 5 of us, and they wound up taking us, 4 of us were of age at the time, taking us out of the schools because of how hard it was for me, because I kept on getting my hand beat for trying to write with my left hand. And I would come home and I was really sensitive and teary about it and they wound up going to public schools because my dad was left-handed and thought was not really convinced that, it was not I don't know how to, anyway, it wasn't talked about with us, but we were all put into public schools after that.
Didn't realize that it was not indicative that you had chosen the left-hand path.
I mean, and you don't mean to. It's like, again, you reach for things and do things. And I still write with my right hand, by the way. I do sports and things left-handed and am pretty much, whacked out ambidextrous. But no, you grow up with it. And it's when you have to stand outside of it to think about how spooky it is that you're doing that. And I'm not saying that I'm not a Christian on doing that. I'm just saying that the Catholic religion is pretty whack.
I grew up pretty
and I don't think it represents Christianity, in my humble opinion.
Well, I oscillated between like following my mom to church and being punished and having to go to church with her and being with my father, who was anti-Christian. And then I thought, well, shit, that makes a lot of sense to me. What you're saying makes sense. A lot more sense than what I'm hearing in this building over here.
Well, think about your dad doing that all your life, Josh, until about the age of 14, when he flips the script and builds a church. I mean, dude, because he fought with my grandpa the whole time. I mean, they were like, he was very anti-church, very like it was mom that took us to church. It was only once he left the fucking, I'll say the Masons, it was the freaking Shriners. It was higher, the 33 and above Shriner level, that he had quit running from and started seeing demons in every TV show, and all the books I was reading and comics was filled with demons, and we're building churches. And I'm like, what in the hell is going on in my life? Yeah, it was a crazy flip.
Well, just imagine if he had watched that quick little bite about the emojis, right? And how you start comparing.
He exploded right now. I was thinking that not too many days ago about if Dad was around and seeing the things I was uncovering right now.
And you know what he'd say? Look, there's demons in your text messages. There's demons in your phone. Like, what are you talking? Are you insane? But if you listen to what he's saying, you're like, well, yeah, because if you go back and look how King Solomon captured all these demons and how there's a symbol for each of the demons, and each of these symbols represents one of the emojis. When you see an emoji, you can literally see demons in the phone. So it sounds whacked out, absolutely crazy, but it's also logical, sadly, and true, right?
And fucking true.
And it was the Baptists that scared my dad off of all religion forever.
Hey, dude, spooky fucking shit. Hey, real quick before it gets too far away and I forget, thank you. Over there on Rockfin, Sean Alkay gave us that tip. Thank you, brother.
Big Sean. ABC, Angela Baby Carson is in chat over here on the YouTube side, so that's always cool. Much appreciated.
Yeah, the thing that always got me once I learned it, out of all the different, sects of Christianity, sex.
Whoa, that's a whole different church.
Tell that to the Catholic priests.
That's a whole different church. But actually, though, if you look back, the scene.
But the Jehovah's Witnesses, I was always brought up thinking that these people were the craziest nuts of them all. But when you actually read the book and do what it says, they follow it word for word. It's crazy. Like about not bringing a tree into your house during the winter solstice and decorating it with gold and tinsel and, things like that. I mean, I always wondered, why don't Jehovah's Witnesses celebrate Christmas? Well, because the book tells you not to. Jesus said, don't take other people's holidays and religious things and then incorporate my name into them. And they listened. So yeah, I always thought it was weird that they were like the outcasts of Christianity, but they were the ones that were actually doing it. It just blew my mind when I learned that. What about you, Martin? Did you ever were you ever had church forced upon you when you were younger?
No, I liked it. I used to go to Sunday school. I used to go there in my spare time, just so I could hear the story of Noah and all the other stories. Absolutely
Yeah,
loved
that was
Bible
one of my
stories.
favorites. Yeah, Noah
Yeah.
and David. David with that fucking
Oh, I
rock,
loved
Jack
it.
fucking that giant. Oh,
I loved the whole thing. We had a wicked little community down our local church. It was quite a big church. It was almost like a cathedral, the Church of the Resurrection, a replica of the one in Rome.
wow. See, now
Yeah,
that would be mind breaking to go to that type of a building as part of the ritual. It would feel like
oh, it was really big.
overwhelming,
Oh,
right?
it was. And I used to
'Cause I mean,
love
I'm
the way
going
the
to a little
sun came
backwoods,
through.
you know, wooden building or a brick building or whatever. That's a whole
Red brick.
different vibe, right?
Yeah, it's a red bricker. But yeah, I was christened at 8 years of age because my mother said I was too wicked and I would go to hell. So it's a good idea if I get you christened, so you go to heaven, Martin.
Thanks,
So she got
Mom.
Thanks, Mum. So I was 8 years old. I remember it all well. They all got drunk and had a great old my christening.
Yeah, I never did communion. I never ate the wafer or drank the wine.
No, we don't do that yet. That's Catholic. My wife was a Catholic and she was ordained and all that by the Bishop of Llandaff and stuff. And that Holy Communion stuff. And they have a lot of Catholics in Cardiff. They used to do that. What's that? Corpus Christi march through the city when I all used to wear beautiful dresses, even the poor. And they don't do it anymore. But when I was little, they did it, and it'd be thousands and thousands, all immaculately turned out. So it was. I used to think that was pretty cool, and I wasn't even Catholic, but it was beautiful. The bands and all the music. So yeah, I was attracted to all of that really early on. I loved it all, really, stories mostly, and I haven't really been a Christian practicing, but I have been like underneath it all, really. I do a mix, I guess, of like Buddhism and Christianity. I got like in my own personal spiritual belief system. But yeah, I've never been atheist, and I've always had faith in Most High. We'd never let it waver in any way, no matter how bad it gets. Hi, Nora. Chat. Just saying hi.
Nora. Yeah, I was an atheist. Like I turned an atheist about 14 when I learned about evolution and the Big Bang.
Yeah, and you said the Fibonacci. Yeah, but I don't blame you there. The Fibonacci is like, there's an encoder, there's, an intelligent design here. What is it? Which is obvious.
Fingerprint. Yeah.
Fingerprint.
Yeah. As soon as I found I was like 32 when I found it. So I went a long portion of my life where I was, the Bible didn't make sense according to science, right? It just wasn't the same thing. It was totally different. And I was just like, well, it seems like this science stuff has been, proven, I thought. The way that the teacher is teaching it, this is fact.
Yeah, mate, I got a video, Zack, which I was going to show on tomorrow's show, where a school teacher was taken to court in 1932 for teaching globe and evolution, because it was forbidden in that state. It was against the law in that state, and he was up in court. And it was like as recent as the 30s, because it's against the Bible, basically the whole narrative of evolutionary theory, because it's taken away from the creation, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Which is what it certainly is as a creator. So I watched a video when I was a teenager, a bunch of creationists on the telly, and I remember thinking to myself, oh, they're nuts. I really did think that. It's like, they're just mad. I was thinking in them terms. And now I couldn't think any other way. Really, really strange how much I've changed my perspective.
Yeah, once you get, a little bit under your belt of what they say happened and this and that, like
that's what it is.
We were taught, oh, it's evolution, but it took billions of years, and that's like where they stop.
No, I was thinking about that today, actually, a little in-depth think while I was discovering stuff, which led me to like deeper discoveries, mind-blown ones. It was just an incredible day of it. And I was thinking about, we're not here long, And the longer we stay here, I mean, more generational, say since the mid 1800s, we're on generation maybe 5 or 7 right by now. So the more generations that get on, we get the time here to work it out, work it all out. You know, the Earth's flat, they're lying about all, and they know that lie upon lie upon lie just gets thinner and thinner, because that's what they're doing, isn't they, guys? They're just bullshitting it, you know, backing up their bullshit with it all, and it looks just pathetic now to anybody who's critical thinking, but they carry on with it. So I feel that when we get to a point when the great unveiling happens and we discover all of this puzzle piece and put it all together, then it's probably in with the new batch. Yeah, they've done that before.
Greatest apocalypse ever.
I was 15 and I used to sit there like literally tripping out at the Book of Revelation, and even then when I was studying high school I was thinking, they're talking about now. This is now. I know it's now. Because they were. It was. Did you
read the late great Planet Earth during the 80s? It was the big, huge. It was America. The big bestseller here about Revelation. Hal Lindsey, I believe, was his name, and it was all about. Dude, it was like it had everybody ready. You know, the nuclear war was coming. It was going to end it all.
I was that.
States. Yeah,
yeah,
it was
get
coming,
ready.
buddy.
Nuclear war, man. I thought they were real.
It was coming. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I used to even think that dinosaurs were killed by the KT impact.
Well, yeah. Dude, absolutely. I had to figure out. I had to ask my preacher, the same one that was the mission guy that was doing the freaking communion in the Baptist church. I was like, okay, so you keep talking about these waters. What is that? Because that's not anything NASA's ever shown me. Because I mean, since 2, I was NASA bound, you know. And he was like, well, it's a philosophical. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, huh? Water philosophy? Okay, whatever, dude.
It is. It's a philosophical debate. Is it all real?
Trying to figure it out, you know, trying to work out what I'm being told by this guy who's trying to save my soul, and by the science that, as Zack was saying earlier, is proven what they tell us. So yeah, what the fuck?
I remember laying across my floor watching the later NASA missions, like the 1973 ones. I was about 5 or 6, and laying across my floor thinking this, God, this is so shit. Right. This should be mind-blowing. I should be having my mind blown.
It should at least look as good as Space 1999 or something like that.
I remember thinking how crappy it all was, yeah, and I remember thinking, shouldn't I have my mind blown? I remember thinking that when I first seen one of those Google images of Earth from space, and I never sitting staring at it on my laptop thinking, man, that should be blowing my mind. I should be emotionally moved now. I should be drawn to tears at the beauty of it all. But nothing's happening. Why is that? Why is that?
Dead inside.
Did you hear about the
psycho?
Did you hear about the new lunar module, Martin? That's going to be. It's going to be going around the moon. They're going to have it orbiting the moon.
Before we get into
that, not Artemis, another one, you mean?
Before we jump into that,
you can't. No one does. No, you can't stand up in it.
I want to get this out of the way real quick because
go.
I just saw this and it kind of fucked me up. Matt Eichbush, if you guys remember a Big Skinny podcast.
Yeah, dude.
When Matt and Jake had come on. Apparently, Matt died in his sleep early this morning, unexpectedly.
Right.
Yeah.
And that just really fucked me up. Like literally just seconds ago. I've not even had a chance to respond. I wanted to drop his Telegram group in here. So if you guys wanted to just go join up, hop in there and let Jake know how much
absolutely
love and support we give him. If you guys haven't heard, we go back and listen to the show we did with Big Skinny Podcast. We've done a couple of different shows. They've been pretty quiet as of late. Things got a little bit crazy.
We even mentioned them not too long back, maybe 6 months ago.
I think about them quite a bit.
To reach out to them, because it was such a brother feeling, just like when Martin shows up. Such a brother is here hanging out. I want that feeling, and we fucking waited too long, damn it.
And maybe it's because
it shows you, man. Everybody, Don't let that person go without saying I love you. Don't let them walk to the store, without saying I love you. Don't miss an opportunity to revel in the fucking soul that is here to share with you. Don't miss it, because it happens that fucking quick. And it doesn't have to be a normie who's been stupidly jib-jabbed or any of that shit. It can be somebody who's enlightened and knows stuff and is, healthy and etc. So, fuck.
Don't be fooled. It's not just the jib-jab that they're going after us with.
Oh no, I know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, but I'm just thinking about the Lisa Marie thing that we talked about this morning and all that. So it's just like, it's not just that level that it can happen to. It can happen to anyone.
I don't think I shared it in the Space Lettuce group, but I think I might have shared it on screen because there was a link, I think, in the one Lisa Marie story that you shared. And I think I just hit another link to a different story about the people being outraged over conspiracy theorists trying to link her death with her vaccine status. And it was just a list of people on Twitter going, oh my God, they're ridiculous. Oh my God, this is stupid. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Full stop. And that was the end of the story. No, didn't mention whether or not she was vaccinated.
Shell was telling me the story as it was happening or whatever, or she was reading it yesterday going over Facebook, and she was telling me about all these people that I do know here locally that were saying that in the fucking comments. Said, I bet she had done this, that, and the other. And some of the people was like, well, if you know, you know. And I'm like, damn, man, I need to go talk to some of these folks. I didn't know they were that aware. I was shocked that some of the people that were apparently on board with like thinking what was going on is.
I tell you what, I don't think they could pull it again. If they were to try to say, oh my God, there's this huge resurgence. Apparently there's now the Omicron strain now has different strains in and of itself now. And apparently, they're not nearly as bad, but apparently they're a bit more transmissible, or maybe I don't know, more deadly. I don't. There's some weird story, but it's all doublespeak at this point. But if they wanted to come back and try to say, oh, we need
pedal in the 80s, I think. And didn't they try to fool us with the technology, something about something? It was a fucking pedal, guitar pedal schematic for a. Oh, dude, I got to go look that one up. I remember that story. Yeah, what the fuck? They're fucking with my guitar pedals, damn.
Yeah, it's crazy. But Martin, you got.
I'm taking a left. Oh, sorry, Zach. What you got?
I was just gonna say about the lunar lander thing real quick.
Go.
3 people, all right, are gonna be in this thing. There's no windows, and you have 6.6 by 6.6 by 6.6 for 3 people.
Right. Maybe they'll just convince them that it's happened like they did on that reality show in Britain, where they had them thinking they were in space. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, but they don't even get a window to look out of.
Right.
People, they're just sitting in there. They're not going to be able to do their flips and acrobatics and stuff.
That's what I was going to say. I think you hit your mic a while ago and you pushed it closer because you were like getting hot when you were talking. You got it. You adjusted it before I said it, so I didn't even have to. You did. You adjusted it. Yeah, you saw it. You realized it.
Thank you.
But yeah, they're like, okay, we can't make another ISS type thing because we just look like idiots. So let's just make it so
we can't have room for them to float around doing flips and chasing on each other with monkey suits. We can't do that. We can't have the windows access for all the bad footage.
Because they'd see stars, right? We would see stars from up over there, that far away, especially on the other side of the
moon. Did the astronauts see? I'm kidding. I'm being stupid.
Some did.
Some didn't.
Depends on who you ask.
It depends.
I did share a video of some Chinese guys playing, or take that back.
Yeah,
a lone Chinese guy playing ping pong. I don't know what
show that. Or you want me to show it?
Either way, I don't have it pulled up. I just remembered now that we're talking about it.
Hang on.
I didn't even get a chance to look at it really well because it was in the small window on my phone
before we went live. Because I was like going, okay, what the hell are we seeing here?
But I figured there had to be something good. I mean, it's from a Chinese space station, and the guy's playing ping pong by himself. What could go wrong?
Oh, this is epic. Oh, wait. Oh, this is good. Hang on. Let me fix it up for everybody. Where's my audio? There it is. Do I share? Do you have me shareable?
I oughta.
You oughta.
Cool. I oughta. How do I do that again on this one? There it is. Optimize.
Has the power.
Share it up. Shout out Austin's artwork.
Ooh, trippy.
There. That's the art you need to put on the
That's
shirt.
so Austin.
Oh, that's what I'm telling him. He needs to put that on his shirt. I'd buy that today. All right, you ready? Hold on, man.
What the fuck?
Oh, are you kidding?
It don't even look like that bull's there, though.
You don't think? Oh,
It's
it's finally
augmented
caught
as
up. I was gonna
fuck.
say it looked horrible. It caught up. I'll play the whole
Oh,
thing again.
yeah. It's not. Oh, look.
It wasn't fully loaded. Yeah. It looks a little better.
You think that
Oh,
looks
that's
fake?
bad.
You think
Oh
that
my
looks fake?
god!
He didn't even fucking hit it then. He was nowhere near it.
I'm saying it looks better than the graphic presentation. It wasn't digitized. Now you can see that the ball
Ooh,
is
the
not
liar.
touching the paddle. What is
What's
this
with
supposed to be demonstrating?
What's
in
this
the
with the
space?
wrist going on and the little wiggle?
He does have great technique, though, that underhanded technique. Okay,
Wow.
also, what's going on in the top left corner up here? Hang on, something was going on top left. I just caught it. Oh, the little ring thing
Oh, it's
is
floating.
orbiting this thing because that would happen all the time like that. What the fuck?
That's the only
Okay.
thing floating in the whole
Hold
place.
on, there's another video. This may clarify things a bit.
The music is great.
Oh man, I didn't want to go to Twitter.
Excuse me. Oh my days.
Oh, look at that bun.
Bit of Tai
Look
Chi.
at that hair.
That
Yeah,
is
man.
so bad.
She's not even in the footstraps. Oh no, yes she is.
Why is it not catch up? Oh man, my video's got to catch up. Hang on.
Oh,
I
that's
guess
so
I
bad.
probably have 83 tabs open, including some guitar tablature sites that were playing it for me. And
Guitar
that's probably
tabs.
caused- Guitar tabs.
Poor computer, Walter.
Oh, dude, look at it. It's like, no, bro.
Nope.
I'm over this. It ain't happening. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop because I'm breaking my stuff. You get the
That's-
idea. It's real. We're done, everybody. Hey, I got one though. I want to show y'all. Hold on. All right, we're gonna get a ding for sure if I play that one. Man, that dude looks like a dickhead. Hang on.
Do you need a minute? Because I wanted to show like what Zack was talking about. too,
Yeah,
and
go ahead, because I'm
appreciation.
broken and I got to shut stuff and everything.
Yeah, while you're doing that, let me do this because this will bring it all into appreciation.
I think I gave up the share. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've got it and seeing everybody. Let's move this over to here. But this just came out 6 days ago. Okay. And you saw the tricks they're doing in this now. Again, people are catching it with all of the tricks. So let's get rid of these problems. NASA's moon orbiting space station will be claustrophobic, the architect says. It's essentially just a corridor where you have to turn 90 degrees if you want to stretch out. Now, let's go over some of this. Living quarters of NASA's moon orbiting gateway station will be so tiny that astronauts will not be able to stand upright inside. An architect involved in the station's design said NASA said its international partners plan to begin construction of the gateway station in the moon's orbit in the next couple of years. When complete, near the end of the decade, the space lab will be about 1/6 of the size of the ISS, featuring 2 habitation modules that will force crew members to all but forego personal space. How small is this? And let's do this.
And just
The
notice they say
internet-
featuring. They feature 2 habitation modules.
Right. Now on here, the International Habitation Module will have a habitable space of about 8 cubic meters, 280 cubic feet that you will have to share with 3 others. 280 cubic feet that you have to share with 3 others that you can't stand up side by side. You have to be in a corridor, like feet to head to. In other words, you can't be, do you understand? It's a tube. It's not, they have a diameter of less than 4 feet across on it. So it's only length on that. You don't even have quite 4 feet as far as a tube. You'll have to share it with 3 others. Rene Wacławiak, the space architect and design researcher of Austria-based liquefier space systems, said at the Czech Space Week conference in Brno, the Czech Republic, In other words, that would be a room 2 by 2 by 2 meters, 6 feet by 6 feet by 6 feet, and you're locked in there. There are other rooms, but they're not any bigger. Remember that your 6 feet by 6 feet by 6 feet amount of space is in a tube that, again, you can't be, you would have to like sit Indian style or whatever, floating to like look at somebody or be face to face or face to feet.
And see, it's that sentence right there that you just kind of breezed over that, right, but the ones, there are other rooms, but they're not bigger. The sentence right before that is the one that I'm really interested in. In other words, that would be a room 2 by 2 by 2 meters, 6.5 by 6.5 by 6.5 feet, period, full stop. Next sentence, and you are locked in there, full stop. There are other rooms, but they're not bigger, and there are not many of them.
Oh, they're going to go into that now. You're going to get ridiculous. These are the personal space
and you
ones.
are locked in there.
They're two.
And you're locked. You're in there.
Feature.
Okay,
they're
so,
featured. You can't come in and out because the doors are locked. But this is what we feature.
Because we're going to talk about that. He was involved in the design phase, or IHAB, which is one of gateways. We're jumping around this. Essentially, bedrooms combined with space labs. When working on the design, the architects had to bow down to practical demands dictated by the nature of the project. Their initial hopes for larger modules offering a more generous volume of habitable space akin to that available on the ISS had to be abandoned due to the impossibility of launching massive components to the moon. We started off in the first phase with a cylinder with the outer dimensions similar to what we know, and we'll go there. It was about 15 feet. But due to the mass restrictions, we had to shrink it down to 3 meters, 10 feet in the outer dimensions, and that left us with an interior cross-section of only 1.2 meters by 1.2 meters. That's a 4 feet by 4 feet tube. Most of the internal volume is consumed by machinery, so it's essentially just a corridor where you have to turn 90 degrees if you want to stretch out. We'll go past there or that. Or we'll say the ISS with its 7.2 by 7.2 feet at 2 by 2 by 2.2 meter, quite a bit interiors where astronauts could even perform space gymnastics routines. That's a luxury experience compared to what awaits the moon explorers. It's a cylinder with a hatch on each end and 2 hatches at the side of the corridor through a length axis. Even if you want to pass one another, it's already quite difficult. You have to interrupt whatever you're doing in the moment to let the other fellow pass by you. Here's your other rooms. Somehow the architects managed to incorporate about 53 cubic feet, 1.5 cubic meter of private space provided by closing doors for each crew member. A 1.5 cubic meter private space that has a closing door for each crew member living inside the IHAB. So your private room is a 1.5 cubic meter space.
So that's nothing.
That's nothing. That's a sleeping bag. That's your private space. But the experience of staying aboard the Gateway will be challenging for more reasons than cramped living quarters alone. Think of bathrooms in this and how cramped 3 people in that little. Most of the module.
They don't even mention bathrooms in here.
Yeah. Most of the module will be occupied by noisy and vibrating life support technology, the constant hum of which will likely badly grate on the nerves of the mere mortals. You're living in a machine room. The life support system make noise and they have a lot of fans, and you only have 1.5 cubic meters of private space where you can close the door. It gets this better on here. They explored ways to ease the pressure of the crew and make the experience to stand above Gateway more enjoyable, but they kept hitting technical limits, including those launch vehicles available to send modules to its destination. We always get asked, where is the window? At the International Space Station, the most popular place where astronauts spend every 3 minutes is that window, but there are technical problems associated with it. The moon is 1,000 times further away than the ISS, and each window is a disturbance to the continuity of the structure. Also, glass is very heavy, so a window is the first thing that gets canceled. Are you all getting that?
They got all their bases covered.
They got all their bases covered. So you really could simulate. You could have people thinking, because you can't. They say that there's a window on the refueling dock thing, but I think that's going to be very special to get there. So you can't. There will be smaller windows on the gateway locating in the refueling module Esprit, which will also be built in Europe. So you have to. It's going to be a big deal to get to a refueling module that will have little small windows in it, but it's not something that you could do on a. It's a special thing that you can't stretch out full. You have to turn corners to. Yeah, this is a great design. It's not expected before 2027, and they're
All
working
right.
on critical design review. Okay, I'm going to stop
Who
my share
wants
now. I think.
to make their prediction? I predict that they will never shoot anything up there like this. This will be scrapped before it's even attempted. For some reason whatsoever, they're not even going to try this. This is a joke.
I don't know. I'm tempted with you, but on the other hand, if they're going to put a mission to the moon, what better mission than to have it like so miserable and people can't even look out the window? I mean, it's why I guess and you're forced to take all of your imaging data wise that you can superimpose over what you want things to be, but this would be like the only realistic way to simulate it almost, because your virtual windows work pretty good, small windows, which they could have on the docking station, but a virtual window, when you get big, you can tell that you're not looking at reality. I mean, they can
Well,
only
yeah,
do
they're
that's why
definitely
I think
covering
they
their
can't.
bases, but
Right. So I think they're working
this
on
is-
trying to fake it better.
this
Do
is
I
no
really think
different
that there's
than them
something?
saying we'll have a base on the moon by 2012. No different.
Well, this one's a little bit more because it's so that it's a little bit more. It's realistic, but again, a thing that you'd have no windows or anything, and you make it's a much easier to fake environment that it falls through. It's going to fall through specs better as far as with engineers. It's not so ludicrous, and so like again, a lot of the issues that we sit and pick apart when we do our
So that's your prediction? You think they're going to do this?
I'm not in the time frame they have, but I think that this is what they're going to go more towards, is more things that would work.
I don't think they're ever even going to attempt it.
Yeah, again, it's a distraction. But yeah, I thought that was like the most ludicrous thing ever. And until you start looking at the specs and exactly how small they are, and again, they won't be able to do any gymnastics experiments or look out the window. That should take away a lot of your, again, live feed mistakes. So again, I think they're working on making it. You got somebody going on the thing of like, let's make it so our actors can't fuck up as much, maybe, but I don't think they'll get it off the ground. It's just again it's a crowd fund. But here again, you could get some engineering people going behind it a little bit more than what they've done on some of the past ones. Again, it might hold up more to engineering specs. They don't need to actually do it or send it off, but the plan looks probably more engineering friendly or not so made fun of other than practical purposes.
See, I kind of agree with both of you. I think it is a huge distraction. But I think, obviously, I think Zack is right. I don't think they'll even attempt it because they know they can't. They're not going to send anything to orbit the moon. No sense in trying. Shit doesn't go up that far. That being said, I do think they've probably already got their 3 victims chosen, their VFX artists on standby, and their software ready to start compositing digital video footage, and probably already have their second camera crew out there shooting B-roll now, getting ready for actual production shoot. If I were to guess, I think they will do it. I would be a bit surprised if come 2028 they had 3 people who miraculously came back from having survived this horrendous ordeal, and actually believe that they did survive a horrendous ordeal.
That's kind of like what Josh, again, if they did it, you could put them in a simulator, give them virtual windows for the little ones where they can't tell. How would they know?
Well, a vomit comet doesn't stay in flight forever. You can't go up so high that you can spend a sort of limitless time in constant free fall. So the only way to get them to fake gravity or a lack thereof would be what? I mean, how do you?
The Chinese are doing it now. They've got a room right now. They're doing it. They're fucking the gravity up. We did a story on it one morning.
That room is smaller than the personal space.
Dude, that's what they've shown us.
It's about the size. I think it was
If that's
1.5 cubic feet.
us, then they're way into it, doing it immaculately, because they're not going to show us. You know this.
Yep, they put something on a magnet. They did.
You can float. Hutchins can float frogs. They can float people.
I'm telling you, it's on magnets.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not really simulating anything. You still have gravity. You still have the effects of gravity around you. When you walk on it, it feels like you are 1/6 your original weight. So the room itself, when you walk in it, you feel like it's got less gravity because it's on a magnet. So it has a little give to it. And you're a little bit bouncy.
That'd be cool to play in.
Bouncy,
I'm pretty sure it was 1.5 cubic meter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what they're showing.
It was this tiny little thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they did actually go to the moon, those guys should have been jumping like 20 feet into the air with 1/6 your gravity. Even with 150-pound thing on your back, you might weigh 400 pounds altogether. That's still that's nothing. What, 50 pounds? Something like that.
Well, how fast can you raise your hand? You can raise your hand pretty damn quick. And the main, what's the word? Resistance you have to you being able to raise it faster is going to be what they call gravity. If you take that away, you should be able to move a hell of a lot faster.
Yeah, we should be jumping like we weigh 50 pounds, but we'd be like, what's that movie that flopped horribly about Mars? John Carter, was that the name of it?
Oh,
I know that was the name of the character in the movie, but it was something about a guy from like the Old West, found some cave and ended up.
Carter, yeah.
Yeah, John Carter, I think is the name of the movie.
And he bounced like miles, didn't he?
Yeah, he would jump and it'd be like 50 feet up in the air because their gravity was so much different than ours, and he was like so much of a superhuman on that planet. Kind of like when Superman came here. You know, the natural forces on his planet, the gravity was so much stronger, and all the natural forces were so much stronger that their bodies were just built stronger. So when he came here, he was like, you know, the Man of Steel.
Oh, a yellow sun.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of how we would be on the moon. We would be 5 times, you know, jump 5 times higher, 6 times higher. We should. And they didn't.
And have laser beam eyes. Shoot lasers from the surface of the moon. Ridiculous, isn't it?
Y'all just gave me a flashback in time to probably the mid 80s when computers were not Windows, before it was Windows, when it was DOS. DOS. Anybody here remember DOS prompts? Working everything off of DOS prompts? I might be the only one that worked with DOS prompts.
Oh, babe, I could make a star shoot across the screen within about 5 or 6 lines.
Edwin. Other people played with Edwin. Okay, that editor, line editor, and DOS and that. But yeah, there was. Did you ever play the game that had the? It was called Gorillas. Something cute. It was Gorillas.
Man, that sounds so familiar.
And you had a banana, and you set the gravity, like depending on where you went. You could be on different planets or different things, and each one had a different gravity. So you had to work with the gravity and the buildings. You were a gorilla, basically King Kong, throwing bananas to blow up other buildings and get another King Kong. But you had to deal with different gravities and having to adjust what angle and how much it will lob and loft and do all of that crap. Total nerd games for case why other people were logging into, like, we're playing solitaire. Yes, I was doing Gorillas, but I thought, well, you may have found that. I'm surprised if any nerdy person in there remembers Gorillas from Basic.
It was
Again,
so like the school I went to, access to the computers was so like limited and access was locked down, and we didn't have a whole lot of time to do the exploring and playing. It was way later when I got some of the old school stuff and got into some of the early stuff like that, like what was the little space game that they had on one of them that we all went nuts with when I was later on?
Galaxian?
Oh no, not that
That was
advanced. No, this was
Asteroids?
early, like something like Space
earlier.
War or something. It was
Yeah.
basically just precursor to like
It was the
asteroids.
Pong
It was
version,
just
yeah.
like little line drawing crap. Yeah, early stuff. But it's been so long ago. But yeah, I do remember playing with those C colon and
funny stuff before there were windows.
uh-huh.
Yeah, the thing about the school, the
Fascinating.
Gorillas was fun because it was one of the first ones that was added. I mean, the school when you got,
Fortran. I just saw in chat.
but yeah, the schools I thought were more the apples, and this was like one of the first like IBMs or whatever they called them. Again, you're again with
real computer
PCs, yeah. Yeah, the PC. Well, the PCs compared to the Apple ones. Where
well, I
everything
could still remember the first time I walked into a Sears when they had the first little Windows type setup, and everybody was kind of lined up trying to take their little turn, and it was like this little, almost like a track ball thing sitting there on the desk. It wasn't a mouse. It was almost like a little track ball. No, you remember that, Zack? Yeah,
I remember that.
and like they had a little simplistic paint program, and I mean it was literally like you go up and down
And
was
nothing
fine,
was
but as soon as you
black
went
back
at
then.
an angle, it was all like little checkered line. It was really
It was like a
rudimentary.
mauve colored.
Yep, that's the one.
pre-mouse, taking us pre-mouse.
Yep.
I remember pre-mouse and those arrow keys, how important they were on that keyboard. Pre-mouse. Yeah.
And when I heard somebody in front of me say Windows or whatever, I'm like, oh no shit, it's a bunch of windows on the screen. That's awesome. It's like all coming together.
Bob's a good one.
Sears was like the leader in a lot of technology, though. Like that's where I saw my first computer. That's where I saw my first video game. That's where we got the Atari. That's where we got the fucking PS1. I mean, they were ahead,
Game Boy.
Right, fucking A. The Game Boy we caught my aunt on the toilet with Christmas Eve. Played Tetris. Where's Geraldine? I don't know. When somebody walked in the bathroom and she forgot to lock the door, there she would. Bing, bing, bing. We found her.
They are addictive though.
Oh yeah. All right, well, I'm taking a left turn. We've taken Martin and flung him into space. Let me get him back down.
I'm good.
I know, I'm just saying, let me get you back in the mud a minute. Because, dude, way earlier in chat, I saw this, highlighted it, and I knew I'd lose it, so I copied it and put it on a little note. Weight of the Mud in chat said earlier, the 1906 San Francisco Great Quake and Fire was a hoax. It was a great cover-up. America was blown to bits. San Francisco was not destroyed until the 40s. America lost World War II. Germany infiltrated. And we were just talking about this, about the best thing to do to the losers is convince them they would be the winners. Was that what, Tuesday? Last Friday? When were we talking about
I think
that?
even this morning and again last week.
Was it this morning? Hell, let's say I know we've talked about it a lot recently.
Yeah, because the Knights Templar. That's what we were talking about with the
Knights
Templar.
Templar. Yeah, right, the Templars. The Templars. Yep, that was it. So what's your take on that?
Well, I'm talking about it a bit tomorrow on my show. No, it is really interesting. And could it go to that level? You had me thinking about like my mother's war accounts, my father's war accounts, and grandfather's war accounts, and
right.
Is it like even conceivable? Yeah, I'm not saying it's not. San Francisco, like something I found out, found like this week concerning that is like got like alarm bells really ringing. They were anyway, but yeah, they've definitely, especially with the April the 6th main Market Street footage, that is 100% staged. They went to that effort. You know, the cars got the
Oh,
same
the-
register. Yeah,
Is that
Yeah.
the one where it's the following it down the?
it's on Market Street. Yeah, but these two brothers, there's a story behind it. These two brothers have recorded it. Like,
Yeah.
literally, it's the best quality film of antiquity in existence. 2 days later, the city
It's all gone.
disappears.
Right.
John
I've
Levy,
seen
when
it.
I was
remember you
talking
showing
with
it.
him, yeah, he suggested it was the other way around. You know, was it all like in ruins before, and then that was the rebuild? You know, after they took out a civilization, and they're just gaslighting us and switching it and showing us the other way around. Because I got like loads and loads of footage of after the event, and it literally feels like two different worlds, and it's spooky, it's eerie. There's something really weird going on. Can't put your finger on it. All of these people just marching in line, coming out of the terminus building and knowing where they're going with purpose. If there was that much devastation, you were in a Hiroshima landscape in a massive American city, you'd be looking around, you'd be like some sort of
Milling
emotion.
around, confused, going, "What the fuck's going on?"
Yeah, but no, man, they don't even look at it. They know it's there. They know it's happening. They just marching straight ahead to their embarkation point. And it's like, you know, when they said that they took the Jews out of people's houses and reallocated Germans into their houses, something like that's going on. It's like they know where they're going, waiting for it all to be touched up, and then moving into where whoever else was there before has disappeared. Because I can't imagine that many people, like they say, 6,000-7,000 people dying in San Francisco earthquake when it's that massive a
And
city.
Isn't this the
disappeared.
footage where they're all like dressed and like they're going to work, right? They're not like in
Yeah,
ragged,
this-
destroyed, ready to dig in rubble. I mean, they're headed to work.
There's a couple of narratives with it. You know, they got like the plague narrative with it. There was an outbreak in Honolulu just prior to it, and apparently they burnt out a section of Honolulu where the Chinese stayed, killing 30,000 of them. And that's in the official narrative. And they said that the Chinese in Chinatown had took this bubonic plague to San Francisco. So there was like a bit of a running narrative that San Francisco may have had something happen to it to stop the flow of plague to the rest of America. But there's some sort of heist going down, because some of these photographs just shows all of the safes popped open in the street. So they've just like cleared it out of all the money, you know, and that was one of the richest ports on that coast. So can't imagine trillions probably,
right?
Money and gold. Yeah. It could have been just that. It could have been as simple as, you know, it just blows my head off to think that all major American cities have had the same MO, you know, where some of them are just like shocking. Boston footage, you know, it's just shocking to the mind to think this looks like the World War II devastation, like Cologne or something like that. It is just blitzed, you know, and both St. John's in Newfoundland. I could just go on, all of the cities, New York, Philadelphia. I could just go on and on. Seattle and Vancouver, over and over again, some of them. You know, San Francisco, that was his third event. It'd been destroyed in the mid 1800s, 1856, I think it was. So they built it like all the coal miners in like 20 odd years flat. The whole city burns down and they rebuild it all again. And it's all these massive fucking skyscrapers and entire buildings everywhere. It's just, no, something else is clearly going on. And the footage as well is a lot of balloon flight. You know, there's another narrative they've taken out, and that sort of gives that away as well. Footage of all of the footage of antiquity is from a bird's eye perspective, including maps. And you can't do that from the mind. You can't look at a map from the mind and think it and draw it out like that. It's just, I just don't think it works like that. But do you want me to show you something interesting that you will enjoy?
How about
blow our minds?
I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but I am saying this, right? Now we all know the Smoky God, don't we? The story of the Smoky God. Olaf Johnson, who went to lands in the north. We know that, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we know of
the young man with his father, right?
With his father, and they put him in the madhouse, said none of it happened. Okay, so we know that he went to a land north and he gives a description of what he's seen, yeah? And there's Mercator's map of the Hyperborean, where he shows the rivers, the Piezo, the Euphrates, he shows the 4 continents, and he shows in the middle what? Mount Meru, right? So what I found, right, is, and I've been searching for a decade or more, and it's the first time I've ever come across what you might call an official account of the population of the Hyperborean, and I'm not even joking. So just, I don't want to share it all because, which one am I on there? On the share screen. Is it the share screen one there?
I'm still seeing you.
We're not seeing it yet.
Nope.
There, it's coming
It's
up now.
coming up now. Yeah.
Okay.
The Zoom
It says
screen.
Zoom in here.
Yeah, we're just seeing your desktop right now. So whatever you click on to,
Oh, is it?
you can, like, when you go to share, you can actually just share like overall everything at once, and that way you can just go where you want to. Or if you want to just share a specific screen, you can choose that. It's up to you, man.
You can share screens or share.
Well, I
windows.
can't actually see my tabs now because the fucking thing's in the way on the top.
We'll move it. That little gray thing. If you just hold down the right, you can move it around.
Okay.
Get it out of your way.
What I got here, right, is I've read it before, but I didn't actually complete it. Okay.
And real quick before you get too deep, if you want to underline or draw or anything like that, if you just hover over the top of the screen, you'll see view options and click that, and you'll see annotate. And you can underline, highlight, etc.
Okay, but I'm not going to give too much of this away.
That's cool.
Right
I'm
now,
just letting you know you have that power.
I wanted to save it for tomorrow. The full.
All right, that's
text.
cool. That's cool.
But anyway, it's this book, right, is the latest American account, accurate description of the New World, okay? And it's pretty accurate of Mexico, Peru, its inhabitants, their customs, the crazy beasts, and it's from 1671, okay? So it's proper early, but it gives an account of, in this chapter here, Terra Borealis, or Arctic region. Okay, so in the first bit prior to it, he goes into the description of what I can only presume is Patagonia. Okay, and they say basically they've seen another continent, but it's full of fires and they can't really go there, and that is Antarctica. Okay, so in this narrative, they're saying there's nothing going on in the south. Okay, they're saying in this, but it's all happening in the north, and it gives you an account, right? It's just mind-blowing. But what's mind-blowing about it is this, I'll show you now, right? Is I have spoken something of Terra Australis Incognita, okay? So it gives an account of when they went to Australia hundreds of years before it's been discovered, and the natives that are there, you know, their customs, their colour, everything like that. Or unknown southern land, there remains something to be said of the opposite part, the north, okay? Namely, the Terra Borealis, or the Arctic regions, which is called Incognita, in like manner of Terra Australis in regard, though very much as well as one of the other have been searched into. So there's stuff going on up there. But it goes on to say here, right, that if you see this list here, Spitsbergen, okay, and finally Nova Zelanda. So he's talking about beyond there, the Terra Subpolaris is described as a certain seaman of whatever that word is, to be a great black rock of about 35 leagues in compass of the extraordinary height through that land. Now, 35 leagues is 35 times 35. We're talking about 1,200 miles. I'll show you that now on a Mercator map, and it is exactly where Mount Meru should be. Extraordinary height. The land adjoining to which the sea violently breaks, makes great violent whirlpools, whole waters diving northwest to so forcible a stream that no ship, though carried by the next strong gale, is able to item these currents. And the last to swallow up is swallowed up by the earth. But it's also purported they've gone in there into these rivers, and I will show you a little bit more. Mind-blowing about Tartaria.
Wait. I just realized what you said. How big? What's the mountain?
30. It said it's like impossibly big, just like my dream of Mount Meru. I said I seen an impossibly big pyramid. 35 leagues.
Good Lord.
Okay,
That's
so it's
about the
35
base of the
miles.
Tower of Babel. That's almost the dimensions for the Tower of Babel.
Not only that, right, when you go onto Mercator's map, it shows you there's pygmies on the first continent, which is opposite Nova Zelima. And it goes on to say here it's purported that between these, whatever that word is, namely the Sakek Ocean, there is on the back side of Greenland. So above Greenland, more land above Greenland, okay? There's an island northwest of Lappia, that's Lapland, inhabited by pygmies. North of Lapland, guys, inhabited by pygmies, exactly like Mercator's Hyperborean map. It goes on to say here as well, literally, that blew my mind. It said about navigation, okay, it adjoins with the continent, the continent of Tartary, showing that at least if it's not the whole world, it was at least a continent there, the continent. So I'm guessing Asia, okay, guessing Asia. It goes on to describe the pygmies, their customs, their lifestyles, what animals are up there. This is all in the Hyperborean, guys. Okay, let me just show you the Hyperborean map in case you forget there. So,
is everybody with me that our pygmies would be the hobbits, or any thought on that?
well,
Martin?
yes, yeah, Middle Earth.
Okay. Yes.
Look, this continent here, Cami, it says I don't know whether you can make it out there, but it does say pygmies there. Okay, and this is the bit that they visited, and this is the bit they're explaining. It's supposed to be like they said they're having a bits of wars and problems with the other people in these, and look how many different peoples are in this
The
earth.
halflings,
You know?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think where did they come from? Hyperborean, the Hyperboreans, the Tatarians. It sounds same vibrationally. And that could be the key. And this is the first independent. I realize that it's by the East India Company, and they're not really to be trusted, but it's the first written account that I have witnessed outside of Olaf Johnson, Smoky God, that I've witnessed so far. So that's quite good, that, I think. Go into it's mind-blowing what stuff is in there. I'll show you. I'll talk about it tomorrow. But so what do you think of that?
Broken, completely broken. My brain
Sorry
is
about that.
gone.
What book is that out of, Martin?
It's America being the latest and most accurate description of the New World, containing its origins, its inhabitants, and it goes into it's so many angles in this. It actually goes into there being an older world there and all of this.
You can have that linked in the show tomorrow so we can follow
100%.
along.
Yeah.
Awesome, brother.
Yeah.
I would tell you to drop it now, but I don't want to spoil it for everybody.
So that is pretty mind-blowing, isn't it?
Yeah, dude. Holy shit.
Holy shit, dude. And it tells you about Mount Meru as well. And then maelstroms.
That map is my jam. That's probably my favorite map.
So you've swallowed up by the earth. It's exactly like what they show you with Jack Sparrow on Pirates of the Caribbean when he goes, he goes down that wormhole. Yeah, and you just keep seeing these. It's a vortex, isn't it? Exactly the same sort of thing as a twister. What you see in Wizard of Oz. Another massive Cluey film. So I thought that was
vortex to get to the other land. Yeah.
If it's all made up in his fiction, I was thinking, I thought, Jesus, he's gone into a lot of detail. It really, it gives you a picture of what this place is like. And it's nothing like here. It's nothing like here. The vegetation, it explains everything. It's just better.
Do you think that's where Dorothy went? Over the rainbow, across Hyperborea?
Well, I'm showing tomorrow on my pictures of the day. I got actually a map similar to Cami's, but it's the map of Oz. Yeah, of Oz
Lovely.
with the Emerald Tower, and it is the Yellow Brick Road. And this is just a hard-coded film, guys. They're telling us the story in this, aren't they? The guy behind the curtain,
right?
You got there in a balloon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're telling us, all right. So I watched a fucked up film the other day that really freaked me out. I don't know whether you've heard of this film, Megan, about this AI robot toy that they're going to give everyone. Have you seen that at all? Megan.
I've seen the like that it's out there, go by. I haven't even watched a trailer for it.
Yeah, probably.
But then this weird fucking thing came by in my feed that I thought was an actual news story about the movie. And as I started to read it, I realized it must be some kind of like PR type thing, because it was like implying that it was these calls. People were calling into the company and sending in reviews, and it started out 5-star reviews, 3, 1, help me, she's got me trapped in my house, all this kind of stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So, but yeah, I got the impression that was what it was going to be, is some new AI doll that has control of your house and your shit.
Like Fiona. It's Fiona with attitude, and it's like there's a toy. It's a £10,000 toy you can have in your house, and it was really sinister and really creepy.
Did you guys hear? This was like maybe 5 days ago. I saw a video, and supposedly this happened back in 2017, but like I hadn't heard nothing about it. This is the first I'd heard about it. But in Japan, they were building robots for the military, fully autonomous robots. They were being programmed to just, there was no video or like a controller where you were controlling it or anything. It was programmed to go out and do certain tasks. And 4 of these robots turned themselves on and killed 29 scientists in this building before they were.
I've seen this story go through a couple places, and then I've also seen it being heavily debunked by a couple of pretty reliable sources.
Okay, yeah,
and then I've also seen people saying the debunks are bullshit. I don't know where to land on this one. I really don't.
Yeah, one of the things was they had tried to turn the robot. Well, they had managed to turn all of them off, and one of them turned itself back on by reconnecting with a satellite that was above its head, and was able to. It was looking for a way to be able to turn itself back on, something like that. Yeah, I don't know if this is, this is supposedly happened in 2017, but yeah, a couple of days ago was the first I had ever heard of it. And yeah, I'm not sure what to make of it.
Right. That's why I really haven't even brought it up, because I don't know. I don't know where to land. I mean, I've seen so much fear being pushed, and I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. It doesn't look like the type of movie that I would want to see.
No, not a movie, Cami. This was real life.
Pretty bad.
Well, that's
and did you guys see China's new helmets that they have for their soldiers? They come with it's an exploding helmet.
No way.
Yeah, it has a detonator device inside of it.
Battle Royale in the head.
If you get captured, you can end your life right there and not be tortured. But it can also be exploded by the commander-in-chief admiral guy of your whatever. So if you decide to go AWOL and you don't want to fight, be forced to fight, and you start wandering off the beaten track, yeah, they just push a button and boop, your head goes pop. That's
not
insane.
To mention can be accessed by any good hacker or thing like that too. That's just something that you really wanted, the remote control.
Heads exploding everywhere.
You could see as a joke them putting it as a children's game where the kids think that they're doing it, as a joke. Oh yeah, we're playing the game.
It's really happening.
A B, boom, boom, and it's really happy. Yeah,
it's like a Twilight Zone episode, that, isn't it? It's
I know that
out
is
the limits. Yeah.
We have a really good comment in the chat. Wake of the Mud. There were short halflings in Hawaii when Captain Cook landed there. They're not Homo sapien. They were just like hobbits. Look to Hawaii, the most remote spot on Earth over the Rainbow Bridge. I haven't heard about those people in Hawaii, but I do know that before Captain Cook arrived at the island, and this is very well documented through these islands, that over 10% of the population had blue eyes and blonde hair. And after Cook, when the ships came back 10 years later, and you hear about the great sickness that came through, in Hawaii, and everybody dying off, that's who was hit the hardest, was the the blue-eyed population, and they say it was because, again, they were not, again, real similar to the people coming from Europe, but had been separated probably for so long that, again, we're not, again, the susceptibility, or it was intentional taking them out. However you write it, but like some of the saddest times in Hawaiian history is, again, the death that came after Captain Cook, and it would not surprise me if there were halflings along with, again, your very well documented blonde hair, blue eye population that was, again, over 10%. And it wasn't just in Hawaii, it was also in the Tahitian Islands and all through the Cook Islands.
French Polynesia,
French Polynesia, yeah. Easter Island was the, I'm trying to remember the name of the tribe, and that the Redheads, and they still have living bloodlines that trace back to that island, where they again do their genealogy and take it back to the inhabitants of Easter Island.
Interesting.
That again will take it back to the Indus region and the Indus War, and people that split over 3,000 years ago when it broke out. Looking into it, and again, a lot of people got captured, a lot of people fled in different directions, and they've tracked a lot of people. Their aliens in New Zealand has some of the best family historical records of it, along with Alaska and Hawaii. 3 very special places. Hawaii indeed is very, very, very special. There's something special about the land there.
Spiritual land, and
very spiritual land.
Weird.
Well, blow my mind again, Martin. I liked it the last time. It felt really good, and you did. You did not disappoint.
No,
no, you don't say that. No,
I got loads of stuff.
I don't do that. I do not disappoint. Damn it! I like that. That's not me.
I know. I was mad how it happened. So, but it's more. I was thinking, if I had somebody like to say, "Oh, do you want to help me do my research?" and they were like keenly going, "Yeah," I go, "Right, do what I do. Spend hours a day reading shit." Because I'm guessing that most people would just lose interest after a while. The amount of stuff I got to go through, but sometimes it's there. It's just I'm guided to it. It's weird as fuck, like that. Today.
Called to it, can't stay away from it. Don't lie, Martin.
Well, it takes a special
but you're right.
person.
It takes a special person. But yeah, you get called to it, and it's harder to stay away than to delve in sometimes. But again, the ability to put it out there and share with is very, very gracious of you. And it's a lot of work and a lot of, again, opening your mind and having the stuff come to you, letting it come to you.
Yeah, and Middle English puts a lot of people off as well. Reading Middle English.
It's tough to read. It is tough to read.
You know, the S's are F's, and you know.
I was reading that. I was like, "What the fuck? Why is every S and F in here?"
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? House is like HOUFE, but it's house.
Yeah, Middle English.
Oops, go ahead.
Oh, I was Shakespeare. A lot of that stuff was written Middle English, and it sounds so beautiful when it's spoken that way. Do you think Middle English was a thing, or was it?
Well, up until, funny enough, like Shakespeare is the first, of the programming English literature people. That's when it all arrived, because up the first 500 years of the last century, apparently, after the Norman conquest, we're supposed to be all speaking like a French dialect, and then the Angles turned up, so it was crossed with German and French, and English hadn't even been born yet. Welsh is the oldest language in Europe, one of the oldest in the world.
That was Welsh, Anglo, or was it Saxon?
No, Welsh is Welsh. Gaelic is Irish and Scottish. That was also prominent. The Picts were supposed to be in north of Scotland, but the Anglo-Saxons, as you know today, that everyone is supposed to be descended from, they didn't even arrive till like, probably 700 years ago. The Saxons are supposed to be from the first millennium AD. I don't even got hardly any information about them apart from they're supposed to have buried all their gold. One hoard in all of their historical story. I don't think they were there at all. It's just giving a name to, post-apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic society. This whole narrative of us falling in our intelligence after Rome apparently fell. No really good reasons for why they say Rome fell, but outside of the Visigoths. But then that's the whole of Europe. Like it goes into like a chronic decline for something like 500 years, where we forgot all technologies. We can't get anything together because we're all completely stupid. Yeah, everything's covered in all of their architecture. It's just like what the fuck happened? The apocalypse happened. That's what happened. The whole of the classical world wiped out the face of it. Then people, they're nothing to do with this. I really don't think they are. And like it's said about the hyperborean, like the pygmies, there are different ones there, and they have blue-eyed ones there as well. But they said they were black as coal, so they're proper black in the centre bit. So I'm guessing it's hot. And I've read some documents in the past, like sort of the early days of Haitian, Phoenician. The Phoenicians landed there early, and they also were in the Pacific. So I'm guessing that the Phoenicians being, on their blue-eyed, I don't think it was Alexander the Great's army in the Pacific that give everyone blue eyes, but it came from somewhere, didn't they? And these really remote places as well. Maybe there was a land there, like they say, Lemuria, and it sunk in the apocalypse. Who even knows? They just all spread out to them. Fragmented islands. They're weird anyway, the archipelagos. They just show up and they disappear again, some of them. They're like, just an entire island just shows up in Polynesia, and then it's not there long. Or alternatively, they can last there hundreds of years and people just build towns on them. Just the weirdest thing. So there's
What do
something
you
in
think
that.
about Shangri-La, the floating city?
Yeah, sure. I've looked into Shangri-La and El Dorado and all of these stories. Shangri-La, I sort of pinpointed, I thought, in a recent post to the High Tibetan Plateau, where there's a society there and they are untouched by the outside world. And they're still, high-end mystics, and they all have superhuman powers. And they built 1,000 of these 750-foot high towers, Starfort towers, all in their valleys. Nobody knows what they built for. Nobody knows why they were built or their use. But this valley is being cut off from the rest of civilization. Like Bhutan didn't even have a television till like the 1980s. These remote regions of what was the autonomous Mongolian region, apparently nobody, not even mapped in my childhood, guys. The atlases in my school said it was an autonomous region, meaning we don't know what's there. So
I think Mongolia is like it's like the 12th biggest country or something like that.
Oh yeah, it is in the
but
world.
It has like only 2 or 4 million people that inhabit that whole country. It's just crazy the amount of land that, and 2 million of them all live in the capital city.
You know what? Well, we don't know what's in these interiors. There are so many places cut off from the outside world. I've studied so many, even in the modern day now, literally civilizations, floating ones in the Philippines, that just have nothing to do with the outside world. Then people I've seen in the Tibetan Plateau don't even care about the outside world, and they are just so flourishing. They wear beautiful clothes all day, so they don't rough it or anything. They just turned out beautifully all day, the women of the tribe of whatever it is, the civilization, and they've been going. The outside world said they don't even know where they turned up from, how long they've been there, but this place is paradise on earth. Fruit grows there all year long, crops just flourish. It's just so beautiful there. So there are places that you could regard as El Dorado, and that is the geographical location where they said it was. What about Kubla Khan? Kubla Khan did decree a pleasure dome erect. Okay, Kubla Khan, who's a Tatar, isn't he? He's a descendant of Aga Khan, etc.
It was a stately pleasure dome.
Yeah, so is it the whole place? The dome. I don't know. Just saying. Coincidence. It's coincidence. But they don't know where that is either, and they can't find any geographical location for, Xanadu at all, the city of Xanadu, or any pleasure dome or anything like that. I think, we don't really know. Like, they give us a geographical size for, say, China, but can that really be trusted? China's incredibly big, and there's just these regions of China nobody ever fucking goes to or knows anything about, guys. Especially these borderlands of Mongolia. They go on forever and ever. So I kind of think there's a lot more going on, even in here, than we know, in the bits that we know of. But I reckon there's definitely, I think that's persuasive. Like, even if it was 350 years ago or less, they're giving you a narrative for, a land north of Greenland, with a black giant mountain. What's the chances, guys? And the rivers, he tells you everything about the rivers, the whirlpools, everything that Walt Johnson explained. When he said, there was a magnetic pull and all of the bolts started flying out of their ships, attracted to the magnetic mountain? Yeah? Looking all in there, right? I'm telling you, it's use. I think it happened, man. I think it happened.
Yeah, I like that last name. I know.
When they got there, the giants were all amazed of their compass. They were just they had never seen anything like their compass before. That's what they were interested in when they met him,
It's true.
They showed them their compass, and they were just like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. What is this thing doing? Yeah, that was an interesting story. And then didn't they find him in the southern Pacific near Antarctica?
Well, yeah, he apparently went into the. He says he don't know how it happened. He doesn't actually state that the Earth was hollow. Okay, but he does state that he went and came out in the south. Yeah, came out in the south.
Yeah, that's wild.
That is wild. If it's the inertia plane and he went through the North Pole hole, that would make some sort of sense in some regard. We don't know. Nobody knows what's going on below, do they? Nobody knows.
Nope.
Or any of it, really. What's going on in this awakening? It's good, though. It's great fun, isn't it, guys? Isn't it a brilliant time to be alive?
Dude, it's the best apocalypse ever.
It is the best apocalypse ever. Thank you, God, for this.
Doubt.
Yeah, Martin,
you always go.
I was going to say, I look at all this stuff and I put in what I call filters of reality as I understand it, or physics as far as I best understand, or different things I know that can and can't work. And when you start putting in a dielectric inertial plane in and building these things and towering up and down, depending on how you put things, how do you know that underneath, if you go into the middle, how do you know that the underside, we've gone down 8 miles? How do we know that there's not an exact, a duplicate underneath it?
Exactly, I've
with
seen
the plane going, or the possibilities are endless.
For sure,
does not.
We're middle Earth, so there could be a level below and a level above.
That's what I was about
That's
to
what
say,
I'm saying.
brother.
Middle,
layers.
We know what the caverns.
Layers, rooms,
and so else they do exactly on the caverns, and that's what the magnetics in reality points to in the way that it works.
Box. It says a box. That's what it says.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
They're actually more crystalline, or again, you watch it, which to you is again the way the crystals grow. Naturally, you sit and do it. That's columnar.
I'm glad you said crystals. That reminded me of something I wanted to share with Martin while he was here, Cami. Thank you so much.
Did you want some salad? I was having some salad. Oops, I meant to be off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got something about crystals too after you're done, Walter. I had a
well, this is going to get us also sidetracked. I know it will, because it's a variety of little images with not a whole lot of info, but just some really stunning shit sprinkled in there. Kind of like what Martin does to us. Occasionally just breaks our brain and moves on. Like, wait, go back. That was great. What the fuck was that? All right, here you go. Let me go find the one with that crystal.
Great fun.
Thing.
Nice. Sorry, that was my
here, let me just show a couple of them real quick. This is, we'll probably get struck, I'm sure. 1 second. So this thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, and it's absolutely fantastic. I've seen some Roman, supposed to be Roman. And
from the
Emanate
water
light.
that's set inside that, wouldn't you? Oh my God.
Fucking stunning.
And then this thing, what the actual fuck? Turquoise studded, gold inlaid rock crystal hilt.
Wow.
I'm
Imagine
trying to,
having
let me
that.
make it bigger. That's as big as it'll get. Hold on. I know.
What's the blade made out of?
4th century.
The blade is turquoise.
Turquoise. Really?
Bronze.
That's what I think I read, wasn't it?
Bronze.
That much?
I think it was a bronze blade.
I was in the bronze. Oh, the turquoise is the little dots on the.
I was
going
going
to
to
I
say.
see it now. I see it
That's a
now.
lot of turquoise.
I can't get back to the freaking. My little thing won't go away.
Turquoise would be beautiful, but it would be a decorative
Why won't
item.
this thing go away?
I was having the same things. It doesn't. Yeah.
Looks like circuitry.
We call that Bill's way. Thank you for updating it so nothing works
Well,
all the
why
way
would
we
it-
know.
yeah.
I know.
Okay, there it goes. Finally.
Right, it looks like circuits inside there.
So yeah,
Or
bronze
even
sword.
sigils.
Touche. Thank you. Yeah. So that is bronze. It's
Proctor,
blued up,
yes.
and then that is the crystal. So there's
That
other
is-
things here in this little image stories that are pretty nuts. That first one, dude. What the actual fuck?
I know. What?
I mean, that's just like, what the hell? That's just for a door. Come on in, you know?
Yeah.
But
Fantastic.
what do we
Sorry, I'm
have? We
scared
have
to
like
touch your
crap that you
doorknob.
can barely keep together and got to go back to Walmart next month and get another one. And oh my God.
That's mad.
So
I know we talked about light bulbs being able to, that there are laws about how many hours in the maximum. I am sure that they've done that now with the big lighters and the ones on there. Like they've said that, like, no, you cannot light this more than 35 times and then you're done. Again, we make things to destroy. I mean, you just see products that you've used again for years just completely get worse and worse each. Again, we intentionally make things to, Zack was talking about with the switches, and we intentionally make crap.
Absolutely. It's a good thing we're more advanced now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about that door lock. That door lock's got me a little messed up.
Capitalism.
The craftsmanship it takes to
Do
create
that.
that.
The
I know.
beauty. The
So at some
forever
point,
beauty.
we had a large population of men, presumably, that had this knowledge and this skill set at
Right. Look
creating
at this.
this.
I mean, same idea. Just throw that up there. Why not?
But now all of a sudden, this guy's got nothing fucking better to do but sit around and make doorknobs. Maybe he's commissioned to make this doorknob. Maybe he's making doorknobs to sell because he's got a craft and nothing fucking better to do. I mean, wasn't it like a set of doorknobs? Didn't I read or some shit that he's making doorknobs from this hugely specific craft.
Good Lord. Look at
Wonder
that.
wonder why it's knobs and knockers. Something with that, isn't it?
Right. Bed knobs and broomsticks, baby.
Yeah, man.
Look at that. I mean, look at that. What the actual fuck?
Yeah.
Knobs and knockers, it's to keep the animals out.
All the bottom bits are bricks.
Or at least all the
Dude, I
animals
know,
with
that's
no
what I'm
John Levy
saying.
covered this one.
opposable
And
foam.
it's all brick.
This is great. Oh my God. The one that's going to break me, though, that broke me when I get back to it,
That's
it broke
nice.
me because I've never, oh, this is pretty nuts too.
Oh, I've seen that. It's crazy, now,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's nuts. But it's the,
Robot.
it's coming. Hold on. That one's nuts. It's this next one. That, what the actual fuck? I've never seen that. Like, I had no idea that existed like that. I didn't know it did that under there. I've never seen that
Really?
shot. And
So-
never having been there, you know.
I'm sure that's
I
a
mean,
very fish-eyed shot. I'm guessing that's what
I'm
that
still
is.
saying that it's built that way. I had no idea. I thought it was ground level.
watch
was
Jumper.
Well, I don't remember.
I think that's what
seeing
it was. Yeah,
all
they
of
jumped
that,
around
you know?
fighting and battling in the
Yeah.
basement of the Coliseum.
And I guess maybe just different shots and different angles I thought were all leading into that whole ground floor area. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's all just one big ground floor coliseum like you've seen 1,000 football stadiums. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know there was even a fucking basement. There's no basement at the Alamo. Come on, ask Pee Wee. Anyway, the rest of it's just kind of stuff you've covered before. I know before, but those few there just broke me.
Yeah, I was probably one of the only persons in about 2,000 years that got caught nicking in the Colosseum. I did it for a laugh. I had money, but I thought I was going to duck past the kiosk just to wind them up because they were pretty obnoxious in Rome. So
That's what I've heard.
They came after me. They sent this weasel guy after me, and I was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I got the money. I was going to give it to him anyway." And that's where we were when he grabbed me. It was down there where that's in Jumper, that film Jumper as well. You see it in that film, but yeah, that's where.
Apparently, I missed Jumper. What is Jumper? Tell me again.
It's
the guy who got the ability to teleport.
Yeah, it's a good watch.
Oh yeah, with homeboy.
Yeah, another homeboy.
Jamie Freemason.
Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, I remember. Because I didn't see it, mostly would be why I don't remember any of it.
I'll show you something cool then. Shall I?
I think I thought it was a takeoff of Looper, so I didn't see it. That's probably why I didn't watch it.
Okay, fair enough.
I was hoping they were going to make another one of those jumpers. I didn't think it was a bad flick.
It was a good film. It was a good film. I enjoyed it.
I've seen it now. Yeah, I'll definitely give it a shot.
The story was cool, and they set it up that there was going to be another one.
Got it with Hayden Christensen.
Yeah. There it is. Nice, thank you. Strange Brew, Brian.
I had Cream on today. I listened to Cream today. I had that on today. Cream.
Yeah,
Strange Brew. Cracking song. So
I still tell people to take off, eh?
What are we looking at?
It's in Turkey, 18. Oh, excuse me. Hang on. It's a site in Turkey. It's called Manchuriani, and it's in Cappadocia in Turkey, 1887. And if you're not like a purveyor of meltology, this is pretty persuasive. There's something fucking dripped all over this.
Yeah.
There's some sort of temple in there, okay? And it's just run over. There's some really weird shots in this, but
yeah, that's pretty crazy. Either that or they grew it out of the fucking rock. One of the two.
I was trying to work this out, and I was trying to
give it looks very organic.
Well, they've also got a Greco-Romano temple entrance there, and I'm like, what? So did they just in this pile of guano or whatever it is, pop in a nice
just a little
temple? So was that
somebody took this Play-Doh and they just took the little imprint thing and right in the front?
Was it there first? And it looks fucked up and melted, and they're all this sort of shape. And there's another one there. Look at this one, and that one's high. That's pretty high up.
See, this is maybe some of that stuff, like 3D printing, like polymer tech, like Daz is always talking about.
Well, look at this here, right? There's these things here. I thought they were pipes sticking out of the old building. They're there as well, and there as well. And it's all been melted. Can you see it there? There. And then the two columns are missing out. A doorway's blocked here, but why is it so high in the air? Why would you build a temple entrance? That high into the air? So again, was that really there? And this whole building's just been zapped by something that can melt stone and buildings. Look at that. Look how high it is, guys.
Looks like rebar is what it looks like. It looks like exposed rebar.
It does. It could be that. But there's holes up here, so there's some sort of dwelling in the comb, maybe. Can't really tell. It looks earth-like. You've got these coming out. They definitely look pipes, I would say.
That's in Turkey?
Yeah, in it's in Cappadocia. It's in Cappadocia. So, this is supposed to be like ancient Troy, isn't it? This sort of same area as ancient Troy. So, but it's still got classical architecture. Look at that. Why would you even build that in there? Why would you incorporate it? So what are we looking at? Try and set your mind back to this magical time when they had these giant crazy buildings like the Wizard of Oz or something. They rub our noses in it with a fucking Disney. Oh, why is it all so fantastical and magical in the Disney Tower? That's why there's gaslighting everyone with this, this was the world that we did have. Scintillating. Again, with this, what would be the point? So is this melt after? I don't even know. But the stacks.
The other thing, oops. I'm going to
Sorry.
talk to you too. No, that's okay. The other thing on the point on the calling everything melt, because I'm one of your like melt people that's there is I just want people to look at the possibilities, because one of your other possibilities that's probably even more of a probability, but again, I can't go back and know, is why we're saying it is melting a great flood. In other words, rock is epidemic to rock, even, or things you go as minerals deposit on things and grow.
100% agree with that.
A flood 100% could cause this type of what you're looking at, as much as that. It takes me back a little bit to, again, Lord of the Rings, and thinking about how the dwarves cut into the mountains and doing the mining and built the great things on here. I don't think that we're the first walkers right now, or the original. Again, I think this realm. In other words, you look at
Skywalker.
I look at how many buildings since my childhood. I've looked at how much from my childhood, and Martin, you're just a little bit younger than me, not much, if at all. And Walt,
55.
Okay, so 58 or 50, I think 58, 59, somewhere in there. Pretty close. So think back to your childhood and what driving in the country and what the roads look like in different mountains and that. Think about what it looks like today. Think about when you go back and the pictures you looked at with your parents and with me and my grandparents looking back on pictures. And again, I walked by in Denver when it was under big construction. Even if as they'd move earth, you'd sit there and watch things sprout trees and settle into nature and become one with nature. Change happens quickly.
Yeah, entropy is a thing. Change is a thing. Entropy is a thing, 100%.
Right.
I'm
I
not
certainly
actually
don't believe that we
massively
started
sold
with
on anything.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm just thinking that some of them look like, water could do the same, but I'm thinking that it's like a mixture of both events. As what
they're probably I'm sure we've had fires, and I'm sure
we've
had
floods.
I mean, I am positive.
Go back to that one. Wait, Mark. Go back to that one picture.
That one.
That last one. Yeah. When I'm looking at that, you know what I really feel? Those huge ant structures out in the middle of the desert.
Termite mounds. Yeah.
That will be perfectly temperate inside. No matter if it's 180 outside, they're perfectly air conditioned inside because of the way they build these mounds, and they look very much like that. So maybe the Hopi Indian tales of them being rescued from the last reset by the ant people from the inner earth, maybe they weren't always part of the inner earth. Maybe they were part of up here too, and this is their structures that we took over. I don't know, just they look so much like those fucking ant and termites.
There's definitely water erosion, looks like water erosion on everything in antiquity. You know, when I was in the Czech Republic last year, I went to the top of this alpine mountain and looked at this most incredible sight of my life. Was these giant megalithic stones, 80 tons, nicely placed on one another on the top of a mountain. And like, who the fuck got all this up here? You know, it was fucking giants. The only thing that it could have been was giants to take them up there. And it would have been just obliterated. I took video, I took film of it, but it's like, what the fuck? I just sat in a thunderstorm, actually, guys, right? And when we got to the very, very summit, it was like the mountain went, fuck off. It was like shit, lightning right above our heads. We were in it. So it was like, let's get the fuck off this mountain quick, yeah? But the old feeling there, whatever was there, it was like at some time there was a special civilization there. Whatever them buildings were, I don't even know what happened. It just blows the mind to think about it. What happened, Jeff? A lot of stuff looks like if you got a fish tank, Cami, and you tip all the water out, and then you got the bottom of the fish tank. It's like fish tank wilts after the water's been taken out.
Oh yeah.
Just a footnote aside, right? You know, you just had Christmas and Thanksgiving, yeah. I was trying to work out, right, where all of the because you would need a couple of 100 million turkeys. Like literally, where are they like literally breeding hundreds of millions of turkeys, hundreds of millions? Because what's the population of America? It's like 300 million in it. So how many do Thanksgiving? A couple of 100 million. So how the fuck is that? You know, how are they doing that? So My son's 3D printing, and I've just been watching these videos on 3D printed meat. And there's a place opened in Toronto, this cafe that's selling this 3D meat. And somebody sent me this today. It's pretty disgusting, right?
Oh
But it's
my
chicken,
God.
right? And it comes and falls apart in strands, and each strand is like a wire, and it's exactly like 3D printed stuff. And I'm wondering if, like, some of these out of city fucking giant units that are really anomalous that you keep seeing on these auditing programs, nobody's working out what's going on, if they're just like, because all the foods taste like shit, like something's happened, right? So since you know what happened, and they told us the foods taste like shit, prices are gone weird, and all these weird brands and all these weird new fucking fangled foods turned up. And I've been questioning, how did they manage to keep the whole world's food supply going when everyone's locked in? I can appreciate some people went to work, but there was no interruption in any corner shop anywhere in the world. No sellout of anything. After the toilet roll thing that they gaslit everyone with, there wasn't any problems for the whole 2 years. So I had big questions, and I'm thinking, where the fuck did all this food come from? And how is it all on the shelves? And there's no, disruption to supply or anything when. So I kind of thinking that, like, are they really like 3D printing like fucking chickens, sliced meat? If they're doing it with, beef, and they're using, whatever they're using, I don't even want to think about it. What do you think, guys? Is it an option? Do you think they're doing?
Extremely possible. I mean, they would love to come up with something like this, short of feeding us the bugs from snow piercers.
Soylent Green is in the year 2020.
I was just going to say Soylent Green.
Yeah, guess what year it's in?
2020.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all know I'm eating right
Tuesday
now.
is Soylent
Sorry,
Green Day.
Cami. That's pretty disgusting. I admit. That is pretty disgusting.
And I
Probably
really
won't
am.
want chicken now. Hope you're not having
Great.
chicken, are you?
Great movie. If you haven't seen that movie, people, Charlton Heston, they just don't.
Lots of folks walking around masked up in that movie.
There is.
Yeah.
I tell you what I watched the other day, the Andromeda book. I don't know whether you've ever seen that.
Yeah, Andromeda Strain.
Cracking
Yeah,
film.
dude.
It goes deep.
The book is great too. Michael Crichton.
Yeah, the book was better.
Oh, it's Crichton. That's right.
Yeah,
it is.
fucking
Yeah. That's why it was so fantastic.
That's why it's so good.
Really
Exactly, because he always
movie
goes
was
deep
really-
on the science of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
One of the most telling parts in that movie to me now, as I look back, is when he saw nature for the first time, he wept.
Yeah.
The first time he saw a deer drinking water from a brook and these beautiful trees and all this stuff, he started crying. That's how much we need nature in our lives. That's why I tell everybody, if you're not feeling good, go out to nature. It's
well, the doctor should tell people, isn't it, when they're depressed? Go
That's
for
what
a
they
walk.
used to tell people. Yeah, they used to tell people, go sit down by the creek
River.
and just sit there for 10 minutes, 20
You couldn't
minutes.
do that where I am. You'd be washed away. My river's just about ready to burst its banks tonight, and keeping an eye on the alert. It's like that far over.
Yeah.
Yeah. It happened about 2 years ago. Me and my son went to video it, and it was weird. It was scary. We stood on the bridge, and the river was literally on it. It was never, and it flooded all the houses along the river bank, and they're old, like 150-year-old cottages as well. Or they say that they're mid-Victorian. Don't know when they were built, really. So, yeah, well, I'm on a floodplain. I'm in the bottom of the valley here. I'm on the valley, the bottom bit of the Vale of Glamorgan is where I am. So we get floods.
Yeah, I used to get flooded up there in Indiana. We would, there'd be roads that would be like 3-4 feet underwater.
Yeah.
Like every few years that would happen, at least.
Yeah. Britain's fucked. It's like we got postal strikes. Okay, the railway are pulling out all the time. They got like there's leaves on the line, or it's the wrong sort of snow. And now next week they're promising like sub-zero temperatures, another big freeze, and we've just had like the weirdest hurricane. The weird thing is they're undermining it when you look on the Met Office weather readings. Like, it's no big deal. It's like, it fucking is. It's 80 fucking mile an hour winds out there. And it's like, really is a big deal. Because I've been around a while.
And you know the weather, right? That's what I was about to say.
The weather.
You know the weather
I was
there,
years at sea, and it was that was a proper storm.
Right.
And then I'm watching and I'm like, why are they undermining it? And then when there's fuck all happening, then they're scaring the people then saying, oh, brace yourselves, you know, red alert warning, there's a biggie coming. And everyone's like holding their breath. And it's like, was that it? That was shit. And when the real events happening, they're undermining them all the time. They're not even mentioning this. Like, you saying, oh, and I was watching this like weather forecast of this gay guy. He's really annoying in the Met office. And he's like, and he's saying the weather report, and he just said, oh, and there'll be a few gales with it. I said, what the fuck are you talking about, mate? This is like a hurricane. It's like my roof's going to come off the other night. It was like just nuts. So
our buddy Andrew called us from California where they don't have that kind of weather ever. And he
Hurricane
was on
Andrew, yeah. Look at Jamaica. Fucking.
He was calling and having his like window getting broken in from the storm and shit. So, and that's like never happens there.
And the state of Florida still, and like the Everglades and places like that after that hurricane, and you know, are still wrecked. You know, a lot of these places are still wrecked. There's boats littering the coastline, still today. Like, I know because I follow this sailing video, and the guy there lives on the Panhandle somewhere. He watches the Cape Canaveral launches. I was thinking, yeah, do you see him come fucking back down again? Because they do. But he lived near to that, them islands near to there. And there's just boats just smashed up, like 20, 30 grand boats everywhere. He got given one. He got given a beautiful sailing yacht because the guy's like, I can't look after it. And, you know, the whole thing's fucking finished, yeah, you know, the sailing thing. So, yeah, still today, it's just mad to think that. It's just that much destruction that they haven't cleaned it up. And it's like, I'm like, when have I ever seen that before? Why isn't it big news? Why isn't there like, you know, a state of emergency like there was with New Orleans? Why haven't they gone down and cleaned all this up? Because they haven't, you know? And it's not really, you know, oh, it's the apocalypse down in the Panhandle, are they? So, weird. But the news is geared to engineer, isn't it? They don't do the truth. They do scaremongering, and they get the people to conjure for them. You know, weather casting. We just cast it like spelling, and you know,
right?
Yeah, they, you know, it's a weather forecast because they're casting it, and they just particularly program, and everyone, like, because the nature of reality probably manifests this shitty weather further down the road. We do it for them probably, because you know we can do rain dances. I've done a rain dance, and I've been successful with a rain dance and a sun dance.
I've burst clouds.
Yeah, I'm a cloud burster.
Oh yeah.
Minister of Goats. See me, Link Cassidy.
Yeah.
I am.
I tried that because of that movie. I was out in the country.
I was doing it before then. I've been bursting clouds forever, and I'm really good at it.
Yeah, I freaked a couple people out at work to where they started like looking at me funny and never talked to me the same again after that. Like,
yeah, you don't want to get too close. You're a bit weird because you can do magic. That guy does real magic. Stay away from him.
Our buddy Wake of the Mud there in chat again. California just got the weather laser online at the Lawrence Livermore Lab.
Right.
It's a fusion generator apparently.
I thought California was about to flood. They got terrible floods coming there, haven't they? Flash floods because of all this shitty, crazy rain that they're having there. Like, worst ever, apparently.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look this one up. I got to look more.
Wow. What are they going to do with that then? Wake of the Mud?
Shoot it across the lake.
Fusion. It's fusion, yo. Science bros. You know, be careful with that fusion stuff.
Fusion's even worse than NASA. All their stuff, they still say, even though they're making all these breakthroughs, it's still at least 3 to 4 decades away.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Come on. I can't even be bothered. It's just so silly. Has anybody been watching any specific flat earth debates on the scene at all in the last day that are quite amusing? At all? Anybody?
Oh, not lately.
I wouldn't say, not in the last day or so, maybe.
I thought somebody might have probably not known. Don't worry.
I saw
there was one. Yeah, which was lethal to the let's say the globe believers.
Yeah, I watched. I think it was last night. Austin tore apart some.
He's getting good. Austin.
Yeah. He's just.
Whitsitt, you're on about, not awesome. You're on about Whitsitt, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it fucking kills it.
Let's
every
throw
time.
props to both. While we're
Yeah,
at it.
props both, obviously. Yeah, I've got a lot of love for them, man. All of them.
I love all you
he's
guys.
gonna- What there, Josh?
I said, I love all you guys.
I love you too.
Thoughts on Bro Sanchez? He kicked me off his show.
Really?
Yeah.
How did I miss that?
Oh, his dreads went and had a little fucking psychopathic nutty thing on me, and he joined him. I remember we was bros before then, and then he joined him because it was like bros before hose yos sort of thing going down, and he fucking kicked me out. I couldn't fucking believe it.
That's crazy.
I
really don't think I've watched the stream over there, and I can't even tell you the last time. It's been too long.
It was because of Tim Osman. It was Tim Osman's fault because apparently, I was on a hangout with Patricia and everything, and Tim Osman popped his head in. It's like, what the fuck you doing in the same hangout as him, you fucking shill? I was like, I was in the hangout. I just didn't ask him to come in. He just fucking joins. He's got like the endless link to every hangout. He doesn't even ask. Right. He just pops in and out of every fucking thing. So, yeah, it was over that. And he went a little nutty. I tried to.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know. The good old days.
So he's like still holding that grudge there? Or?
I don't know. Dredd is a shit. Like, he was really rude. I have thought, because basically I went on Dredd show once, right? And there was like 4 brothers, right? And I was the only white guy on there. And like, I'm fucking from Cardiff. I ain't got an issue. Instantly, they brought it up. Oh, you got some fucking gonads on you. I was like, what you mean? So you got some bottle on you being with us. I was like, sorry, I'm not actually with you. So, instantly there was some sort of like, thing. So I'm like, oh, fucking hell. So I'm not really like that. So, you know what I mean? So, yeah, so there was a bit of that going on. And there was a little bit of sideswiping me as well. So I was like, I'm not really into this.
Right.
Next time they just come at me.
Terrible, man.
I knew it was going that way because I could feel the development of gaslighting in my direction. So, and then he just went for me the one night over that, which was bullshit, as they know it was bullshit, because you don't have a say who goes in and out of somebody else's bloody hangout, do you? That's ridiculous.
And he knows that. That's the whole thing. Is
yeah.
He is completely aware. So yeah, they drama queen where they want to, where they can, and that's their energy. Yeah, I have not watched them in years because
that energy. I've looked at their vlogs since just to see what's going on. Every fucking time I go on there, they're angry about something and they're slagging someone off.
They like
just,
what makes them feel good though. I mean,
I can't be dealing with that.
Yeah, I can't either.
No,
I know it's gross.
It's I avoid loud and vexatious people. They're hazardous to your soul. Yeah,
that's me too.
Go placidly amid the noise and haste.
Yeah,
I know Desiderata.
I've like literally, even though it's anomalous source, it's sort of been a really good guide for my life. It really has, and it's just golden words in the Desiderata.
Mine too. Growing up my entire life, that's what they've rung in my head.
All right, okay. Strive to be happy, then, guys. Yeah, it's brilliant. I looked into where it comes from.
I think I need a word in the dictionary that's repulsive. I guess repulsive works, but it's like it doesn't repels you away from it or repulses you. I guess repulsive it's like
I like repulsive.
Except for repulse, you have a pulse and then you repulse. Think about taking that out. Are they twisting? Is that a twisted word? Or
what about remember as well? It's like that, isn't it? To like remember. It's like you remember, and now you're remembered to the membership, which is a shit.
Remember the Death Star?
Remember?
I remember.
I like what Walt said this morning about the star thing. It sort of resonated with me because of what Hollywood do with the stars, Walt.
Right?
Make a new star, catch a falling star, and put it in your pocket. And it was like the whole narrative. It's like we're making them a star, and that's your star,
Yeah. Absolutely. I that came to me one night in a like an altered place. Let's just say that.
Got ya.
And when it hit me, it was like true to my soul. The chills, all of it. The truth
Yeah, I
bumps hit.
was like, wow, fucking
And as
hell,
I shared
yeah.
it with Michelle, you know, she was like, "Oh wow, I could see it make, you know, it hit home with her." So
And we're like the
it's
3D manifestation of that.
mhm.
That's solidified in this plane, because you know we're only light after all, aren't we? You know,
There it
vibrating.
is.
So wow,
And
really
tying
good.
it into like everything and through here, it's just a weird connection. I was reading it, clicked into just again through magnetics and stuff, the nerdy stuff, but compass point east. So to me, that's a very fascinating topic, compass point east, and Zack will get why it's that. But what compass point east is, when you put into the browser, that was the name of Walt Disney's secret project to the land buying and everything for Walt Disney World. He named it Compass Point East.
Whoa.
So Walt Disney World was built on land that was part of the, as people were like, you know, as he's secretly buying the land up and everything to build the property there. That was the name of the whole start of it.
So,
which, if you get to the mythology and everything, again, remember the elves took the straight line to the west. Again,
Well, isn't that what a Freemason says to another Mason they
Yes.
don't know?
Yes.
I'm a traveler
From the west.
From the west, heading east.
Yeah. Heading east. They do say that.
Ooh. Interesting. And
there's a reason he called it the happiest place on earth. There is something very specific about the geography and harmonics or vibrations that he used to pump into the park that would elevate your moods. That he literally created it to be the happiest place on earth.
Yeah. On earth.
Wow. It's more going on than we know about.
Well, I mean, they do things with scent there.
Well, I thought about that this morning, and it's the smell what we're doing. It's the scent is, I always say move away now, because Set is like obviously the Egyptian god, and it's also a personification of the devil. You know, Set is the devil. So like we got towns in Britain, Somerset, the county.
What do you think about just what it does to you as a person when you smell something from your childhood? You're back there instantly, like you know. It's one of the most powerful memory triggers there is. So for him to be able to like manipulate people through that, you know, early on, like he was doing, that's pretty crazy. My friend who has gone there so many times, it's just beyond ridiculous. He's spent, oh my God, thousands. That was one of the things he kept telling me about early on, trying to get me to want to go, and I'm just like, that'll never happen. But yeah, he was saying, oh yeah, if you go and you're looking at this certain like, I don't even remember what we did. Oh, Minnie Mouse's house, and in the kitchen it smells like baking bread, and in the bathroom it smells like, dude, you toured Minnie Mouse's house? What the fuck is wrong with you? Anyway, yeah, they do stuff there that you know, well, it's just like a casino. The whole thing in there is set up with all the different things to keep you in there, to keep you playing, the sounds, the smells, the atmosphere, and the light.
My best Disney moment.
The windows. What was it?
Is when Pluto knocked that kid out. Did you ever see that? Did you ever see that?
Oh yeah.
He kicks him out, and the little kid, and he just goes.
Like that was Sunday. It was Hee Haw and Walt Disney. That was my Sundays growing up.
That's amazing.
I saw all that shit.
Fucking hell! I would have loved that as a kid. I thought it was the best thing ever.
There's something
I
very
was more into
grooming.
Tom and Jerry, though.
Something seemed very grooming about that Sunday night Disney thing. I talked about last week or week before something about that little Cambodian girl that won the spelling bee. That was one of those Sunday night Disney movies. Once I looked it up, and there was just that whole, it just flooded my brain back to sitting there in front of the TV on a Sunday night waiting for the Disney movie and for Tinkerbell to come flying across the screen.
Yeah.
I knew it was kid-friendly time. It was all about me now.
I like on like with Tinkerbell and that, with what's his name, Peter Pan. He's got this thing that if he laughs and spreads a bit of pixie dust, he can float. When he's happy, they all float when they're happy.
Think happy
and they got
thoughts.
the same narrative in Mary Poppins. she says they literally laugh and everyone laughs and they all float, and the children as well. So they're happy and they're laughing and they start to float. You got it in a couple of movies. Trying to tell us something there, guys, I think. Maybe this place was more soupy and more, the EM shifts, and maybe it was just less, and we was just like you said, and we could just literally bounce and take off in this place. And
Dude,
it wouldn't take
we
much for us
just
to
talked about
float
that.
around.
Just talked about
I got
that.
images of this going down.
We got I brought up your pictures of the ladies with the bellies all floating about and stuff. I
Mary
Zach
Poppins
thought about was like, yep, that's what Martin was talking about right there. Because Zach and I both were talking about the dreams that we would have, which weren't really like we were technically flying. To me, it was always more like I was jumping up onto this layer that's invisible that I could hover and like skim across in the air. And I could jump from this layer of it to that layer of it to that layer of it. And that's what I was doing. I wasn't flying. I was skimming along these layers of energy, wind.
That connects.
What,
That connects, doesn't it? That
Yeah.
feels right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
The one I had
in my
like a
memory.
week ago, I was like literally, I wasn't flying as such, but I fell back, but I never hit the ground. And then I was floating and there was other people around. And then I was sort of showing off, but I'm on my back. Like
You always got to show off a little bit.
and I started like, woo, and I'm going backwards through everyone like that, showing off, but not high like that. I was just like literally not far off the ground, but stuff. Floating.
Just like skimming along.
Skimming along.
Where I grew up with all these pastures and kind of rolling hills, it was so epic to just be like 2 or 3 feet off that ground and just flying. Yeah.
I used to swing around my lampposts and sit on my roof when I was a kid. Just sitting at night, sit on my roof watching the world. Yeah.
I loved the roof as a child. That was, and the stars and everything. And we had a big old house that you could like go out the windows, climb on the roofs, go up on top of the peaks, then climbed up and over the garage. And then there was a like screen room patio that was flat topped. And we had lawn chairs on that, and you could lay out in the sun. And again, it was part of the like an escaping onto it. There was a roof world as a child, and that's pretty darn cool. With that old house, that is something thinking that was pretty cool for a while. I lost that when I was 11, but it was Magic Land for a while. That was like one of those old houses that had like it had like the paneling where there would be a secret door. And so we'd play like mummies and go on one side of the room and fall through like you're a mummy, and little things that they don't build into the houses anymore. The little weird details. They had the laundry chutes that went through all the bathrooms. And
did you go down there, Cami? Did you go down the laundry?
So many times. I was the perfect size. I could go up and down, and I could start at the bottom, crawl up, and then peek through on there. And there were 3 different floors above to do it.
Wow, that would be so.
Going in a dumb waiter would be good.
Wow.
And I was also out of all of the children, I was the only one that was also possible and big enough and small enough that out of the two out of the 3 floors, I could go in and out. The one floor, the door wasn't quite the one on the lowest one to the basement, the like half bath on the main floor. That one I could not. I don't even know why you would have a hamper entrance into it. It wasn't, it's like, why would it be there? It wasn't really a changing room. It was on the main room, the foyer, not the in the old house, not in the setup on it. But that one was too small to get in and out of. But the 2 top different layers on the bedrooms ones, those ones you could crawl in and out of it too. So you could go in and out of. I lived through it.
That just feels like
I'm sure it's
place for the
dangerous,
demons to come and go.
Don't it?
Just like that half door in the attic at that house in Belzona. My brother and I could tell you all about, and sister and mother. Oh my God.
Oh, this house
Why have that door? That door was for the demons. That's the only reason you put that door there.
Shit.
My bedroom had stairs. My bedroom had like stairs and shelves, and that it was really interesting, and a safe in it. And it was an interesting little or a bedroom. But my brother's bedroom had it in your closet. When you went to the back of it, you could go through their clothes and go up into the attic. And it was a big attic, and up in the attic was a cedar wardrobe room. That again, it didn't have the door on it, else it would have probably been more scary. But again, you could go up there and, the Christmas decorations and the different things up there. And then that little wardrobe room and the whole, it was a fun type of like magic house to grow up in. We didn't think
Right,
demons
like
on
your
that.
own little bed. No, I'm saying like
Uh-huh.
this was after I was in my
Mhm.
20s when we moved into that
Sounds
house
lovely.
and was scared of it. Man, I wouldn't. If I'd have been a kid in that house, I'd have probably had a blast with that little door.
Yeah,
Better
my
not to
memories
break
are
it.
here,
Much later.
Zach, you know this one because you know my brother and I don't know if you've met my little sister. Um, but yeah, it had an intercom system throughout the house thing, and my
Oh,
brother
that's
used to
crazy. Y'all had your
call.
own like bed now. I mean, lion witch in the wardrobe happening. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
my brother would call on the intercom to the room my little sister was in and say he was Santa Claus and she hadn't been good and wasn't going to be getting anything, and she'd be, all
Oh,
kinds all kinds of shenanigans could go on like in a house like that with kids, being able to voice into other rooms. And this was old technology that this house was what it was an old house in Illinois. I'd have to even go and look at where it's built with the boiler rooms and everything. And yeah, you move out of that into the new sterile houses that have no personality, no anything in it, workmanship,
no soul.
no soul,
Mm.
right? But yeah, this was again an old house in Illinois we lived in for a few years, but on the growing up, kind of like the most magical house you could live in as far as the different type of features that kids could and should have. I think I was pretty lucky. And
Oh,
again,
sounds
we had
dreamy.
5 kids. Well, we had 5 kids. Our next door neighbors had 7, and the people across the street diagonally had 12. And I mean, it was a kick the can neighborhood. I mean, it was fun. It's not like it is now. We took over the streets and did things. It's not like it was now. I'm sad.
Everyone got the internet now, haven't they? They didn't have the internet
Yeah,
back
they
then.
have the internet now. They don't go outside. They don't look. And again, on the mythology and that, and I don't mean to. The thing that breaks my heart on the mythology is that they're not seeing creation. They're taking things starting off as bricks and getting melted and not looking at what they built the bricks out of and seeing, like, just like you watch babies grow and the magic of it and seeing the creation of human life in that. And you watch plants, you do the seed and do that. Mythology, the only thing I ask or like would want to put into the picture is them seeing that rocks do, the elements and everything come together. They do
Crystallize.
grow, they crystallize, it's imperfection, and they do it quickly, more quickly than
Oh, for sure. Rapid. I've seen that rapid. I witnessed some of these crystal formations on a cliff face, and I posted about it recently, and they were just part of the strata, and it was just crystallized, and it was, yeah. So
and
I know this.
when we talk about creation and things taking millions and millions of years, and then you get
Oh
into
no.
today's technology, and what all crystalline is it means that like your positive and negative charges organize themselves in geometric perfect, like sacred geometry alignments. The charge potentials, that's all it, they organize. And so there's a lot of structure or grid and properties to the different substances. Like, can they conduct heat? Can they conduct electricity? Do they have what are they tough? Are they strong? Are they hard? Those are all different words. Hardness is how much does it take to scratch it, but you could like maybe tap it with a hammer and get it to break, even though you couldn't scratch it. They're all different properties. What is it that makes these things different and have different properties? And then you watch them grow, and they're beautiful. And do we take take the materials and make bricks? And have we built into mountains? Have we done all of this? And are there a lot of amazing ruins? Yes. Should we be looking at them? Yes. Should be we'd be like really looking at them with that. But like what I was saying earlier, and how quickly like the world has changed in the few years I've been on there, there's been a lot more years than that.
Same.
So there's a lot of ruins in that to look at over the years. I mean, really, if you look at, just go back I've listened to like 3,000-year oral histories and that going, I think we can all agree it goes back at least that far. You look at how much each civilization can build in that. We have ruins and we have stuff to discover, and the older stuff is even, again, things that we can't reproduce now. Some of it we're looking at, like, again, they're looking at the geopolymers probably used in the pyramids, and that would make perfect sense to me. But again, it starts from you get the properties and the things that grow from the earth to get, you mix things together in alchemy to make your bricks. Brick making is a skill. You take the clay and mix it with the water and that and harden it, and you make your things from it or build into things. But
I
to miss
saw an
the step of
amazing thing.
creation and not to look at things as living in a way or at some point growing at one time, that's all I want. It's sad to me. In other words, that's what mythology is missing, is it's missing God in the creation part of it in a way. Because the more you actually look at how things grow, the more beauty you see. It gets incredible. It gets overwhelmingly beautiful, and you can't not see God when you look at creation. You can't
Yeah,
not.
I
I
just
mean, you
learned
can't.
a couple weeks ago. It's pretty amazing. Gases can turn straight into crystals.
Mhm.
If you don't, there doesn't even need to be a liquid
Nope.
involved at all. If
No.
the temperature is low enough
Snow.
and the pressure is high enough, gases will turn into a crystal.
Snow.
It's amazing. Like even underground.
Nitrogen, maybe nitrogen.
Yeah, all kinds
Nitrogen,
of different
all
gases.
of them will. They all will. And temperature, your biggest coefficient, along with the other things, that's a temperature thing, and it happens to tell you on the organization. And when they say how long it takes things to do it, metals, they right now struggle in laboratories to make what you would call a glass metal. A glass just means that the structure is not organized. You cooled it, things aren't in alignment. It doesn't have um a lattice structure. Think of glass as a gas that's just in a liquid, or a liquid, a messed up liquid that's in a solid form. Think of it like that. It's just got frozen without organizing and getting into a lattice that it naturally it wants to go. It wants to make that lattice. It wants to change over at the perfect temperature. It's only when it's forced outside of its bounds that it won't. But metals, for instance, they can't take them from liquid they can, but it's very, very hard, from liquid to solid fast enough for it not to organize and get perfect crystalline property motion within milliseconds. So when they do it, they come up with an amazing new material, because as soon as you take some of the lattice structure out of that and mix and match it, you have things like a metal that does it's more amorphous, or it has on the amorphous, you can like bounce things forever and it will keep on bouncing it. It won't have the symmetry to it. It's hard to make. It's something that's hard to do, but nature does not want to do it. In other words, the glasses or the uncrystalline things are the anomaly. They are the things that are hard to do. Not when we make the ice cubes in the tray compared to the snowflakes and that, it's because we're forcing the changeover at we're taking it out of nature the way that we do it, in a way, if that makes sense. It wants to organize, it wants to crystallize. So almost everything you see solid in nature is crystalline. We take the properties, we mix them, we build them into other things. We build anything and everything that we need, which is amazing, but it all grew here. It was all here before we turned it into cardboards, polymers, all of this stuff. It was all here first.
So I got an idea about
Yes.
how to generate electricity with piezoelectricity. Taking a crystal and applying pressure to it creates an electric charge. Well, if you could make a pressure so high without just applying it to, like two sides of it, but press on the crystal from all sides so it can't explode and it would stay there, how much electricity could you get out of it? I've been thinking about this.
That
What, like
doesn't work.
sustain that moment?
No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work because, okay, think about it. In piezoelectricity, if you take it and you take the hexagon and you put your charges at your points of it, right? Your plus minus point. The electricity is created when you get a differential and charge potential. So you have an overall positive line and an overall negative line. If you put pressure on it in all directions, you're not going to get what causes the charge potential. You're just compressing it without, you won't be able to, you're not taking it out of alignment. It's actually taking that hexagon and kind of flattening the lines that you get your spark. That's your difference in charge potential.
I mean, has it ever been tested? How do we know that it wouldn't create a charge?
Because we know that, well, you can test it through there, but just even thinking about it to understand like on how,
Well,
when
yeah,
you,
but they're talking about atoms and this and that. And I
no,
don't
no, no,
believe in
no, no,
any
no,
of it.
no. They're not talking about that. They're just talking about in piezo how they know what orientation they have to line up the crystal in order to hit it at and tap it over and all and make the things happen. They're talking about lining up the basic mechanics on how it works, and if it's like making a straight line or at this angle, compressing these two angles at the same time. Again, when you, if you were to hit it from all directions, you wouldn't be changing, you'd be equally pressurizing and compressing it. You wouldn't be changing out the charge potential at all. It would be taking away the that jarring that makes the charge, that alignment. The alignment is, and again, I'm not talking atom alignment, but I'm even talking like a something, we understand the orientation
Well,
of that you do it
but yeah,
reproducing.
we say we understand it, but that's theory at best of what's actually going on. So until I test something or somebody tests it and tells me this is or this isn't, I'm not taking anybody's word for anything. That's just
That's
me.
interesting because I understand and believe this. I was like that before, except for I would take it from the stuff that you've taught me, Zach, watching the dielectric plates and everything. So watching, it's what I've learned from you that have put that idea into it. I probably would not be where I am at all with my thoughts on it without. So that's an interesting, it'll be a loop. And we like to, again, discuss and go different places.
Well, I know, but okay, irregardless of whether it's going to create a charge or not, a way
Mhm.
to do that, liquid cannot be compressed. You can't compress a liquid. You can apply pressure to it and it can increase the pressure, but you can't take a bucket of water and push down on it and make that water smaller. That's one thing we've never been able to do is compress a liquid. I didn't know that till like a couple weeks ago. I had no idea that you couldn't like take a cup of water and make the volume, the size of its container smaller and actually like press on the liquid and force it together. We can't do that. I didn't know that. So in theory, we should be able to generate a huge amount of pressure, atmospheric pressure in this water that would compress the crystal on all sides equally.
Good one.
And I'm wondering if that would create some kind of, and you could control, you could actually vibrate it like a frequency. The amount of pressure can change, just a little bit. Depending, there's so many, something told me that this will work. And that there's almost unlimited potential in these crystals. I mean, does a crystal ever run out? Can you push on a crystal until it stops producing a charge? Or will it just always produce a charge?
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah. In another direction, a question in chat reminds me of a discussion we had not too long ago. D-Real asking, are human bones piezoelectric? Is that why they bury people at 6 feet?
Well, that's
To
what I
harness
covered
the power? I
before.
thought we had talked about that before.
Yeah.
You had spoken about it. Absolutely.
They are. With that, Zach, and if you dream of it, that it's real and that feels right to you, because I liked your sidewalk idea on it. This one, a way I'm sitting here and trying to think of it, because when we think of our piezoelectric things, they run in again what I would call, or I don't call, but they would call a hexagonal lattice. Maybe that could, and we don't get it out of the other lattice structures. Maybe if you changed it from a 6 to a 7-sided, figure and made it uneven and hit the pressure from all sides, it would create what you're talking about. In other words, maybe changing out the schematics of what we would call a piezoelectric material, if that makes sense. Because I can't see that what you're doing happening with a hexagonal lattice, but my mind gets kind of warped and gravy, like when I take it to 7 sides, or even, again, I would need an unsymmetrical starting place, but that's
and this is one of
interesting.
those thoughts that hit me like, like a giant wave. When it hit me, it just felt like the truth.
Right.
Like,
that just
where
hits,
did
and
that thought come from? It wasn't my original thought. That one was sent to me through the ether somehow. I downloaded that stuff from somewhere. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, once I realized that we can't compress a liquid, that made me realize we can make huge amounts of pressure. Here, we don't have to go to the bottom, because I was wondering what would happen if you dropped a crystal to the bottom of the ocean and all those pressures were being applied to it. What would happen to that crystal? Would it just start putting off all kinds of electricity? And can I recreate that here on land?
Well, we do it in laboratory under usually something called an HTHP process, and it's high temperature, high pressure, and you can mixture and even do the high pressure. And they have done things like that. I haven't heard about electricity doing it, but they have used it to do different things, like cure out color impurities and different things in crystals. And I mean, it does have some effects on it, some optical and some effects in as far as putting, again, pressure all around different crystals. A lot of the times it explodes them, especially ones that have gotten inclusions inside of a different material. You subject those to high pressure. It's usually toast. But if it's in a dream and doing that, again, maybe something that it hasn't been done. I believe in it, like when you feel like you're getting those pictures and that, and it's working them into the puzzle. And my mind sits there, and automatically, as soon as I hear it and I do it, runs like all different filters on it. I can't help it. I'm a puzzle person, and always try to like see, is that puzzle the right size piece to fit there, or is it a realistic puzzle, or should I check it because it's not needed in the puzzle and it's just at this point distracting. But that's very, very fascinating to think on. I'll do some mind experiments, and we can maybe do things. I do know that you have, which is very rare, liquid crystals, and they work with it a lot, and they use it more and more in technology, where you align in a liquid state, you align and organize things, and you usually use magnetics and that on it. And again, what they're doing with the liquid crystals is amazing.
Well, Martin, I believe we bored you long enough, brother. Thank you so much, man. I know it's got to be getting late.
I do look into piezoelectrics. As I said, I did the human bone battery.
I thought so. I remembered that
where,
one.
Where bones are compressed, they give off a piezoelectric charge. I show these pictures of these wires coming out of them,
so
almost like they were human batteries.
Like the catacombs. Was a giant
catacombs in Paris, yeah. So wires going through. Well, the bone, once it's dried out, it's like a battery itself, because it's like a sealed cylinder, and there's like where the marrow bone is, it's like it's almost like a battery, yeah. And when it's crushed, again, it gives off crystalline structure, gives off piezoelectric charge. So it's not beyond the bounds of possibility that they were using the dead for an energy source, as well as the alive for an energy source, is it?
I know in the Catholic Church, one of the creepy things they do is in every altar of the Catholic Church, they have something called a relic, a little space under the altar, and it's the
reliquaries. I've also covered them, yeah.
So a little piece of bone under the altar.
100%. 100%. Do you want me to let you into a secret, guys? You're probably going to have a little bit of a shock now, but it's something you need to know. Okay? You ready?
Yeah. Ready?
Okay.
Maybe.
Martin Lennon. Somebody posted these to me this morning and said, Martin, is this true? I was like, "Wow."
You're John Lennon's son.
Yeah, hang on. It seems to have glitched or some shit. What's going on here? I don't even go back. Stop shit. Oh, there you are. So, right. Okay. No, that's half the story, right? Okay. Maybe a bit of a similarity there. Okay. Even my son looks like Sean Lennon.
Oh, that's wild.
What? Look
I
at
love
this.
that. Oh, that's great.
Well, if your son is Sean Lennon, then he and I have bumped into each other at the Metro in Chicago.
Yeah, so I'm like, I've been cloned. I'm John Lennon, man. Check that out. My son's Sean as well, man.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I always got called Michael Stipes when I was younger.
Oh, have you seen him lately? What he looks like? He looks like ZZ Top.
Yeah, a huge, big white beard.
Yeah, his hair's freaky as well. He looks really weird. He looks weird. All his face is all like sort of caved in a bit, you know. And he's got these big, massive blue eyes. He just looks so off. I seen him on a picture the other day. I was like, whoa.
He was on about Nibiru back in the day.
Well, he was on it, wasn't he? You know, what's the frequency, Kenneth? So we knew about this place. The Great Beyond is another brilliant track. You know, they told us a lot in their tracks.
Stand in the place that you live.
Yeah,
Now
Man
look
on the
west.
Moon. You know, would you believe they put Man on the Moon? You know, they're pretty tuned in band, weren't they? REM, definitely. Can't think of any others. Losing my religion, but like I don't like that song.
Yeah,
I don't like
Everybody Hurts was one of my favorites.
Shiny Happy People never actually made an album, and he had like B-52's Woman on there. And it's shiny.
Yeah.
He looked a right pillock in that video.
Holding shiny happy
people holding hands around the globe.
Don't forget Stand.
Yeah.
Stand.
And in the place where you live, turn left. Don't think about direction, wonder why.
Imitation of Life. What was he on about there?
All of the stuff. I mean, to me, he's telling his story. He's losing his religion and hurt, and he's looking around and saying, "Why haven't you thought about it that before?"
Oh.
But Man on the Moon to me was always an invitation to join them, or to again a wake up call, or say if you understand what I'm saying. But I don't know if it felt so innocent. Here's a little Egypt for the never believer, the people that don't believe that there's a man on the moon. Here's a ghost for the offering. Here's a pit stop instead of St. Peter, or a truck stop. Here's a truck stop, which is a transport station instead of St. Peter. So they're like telling you that, like, if you're a never believer or whatever, here's your we have a transport station, or we have a truck stop away, different than St. Peter, a way around. If you believe we put a man on the moon. But when you read the lyrics and do the word for word on the verse, it's almost like a that most of the people are going to hear the end, or they're going to be the sheep, la 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 la, the ones they show it. And then here's a little ghost for the offering. You do that if you understand what they're saying. Here's like an invite. And I always felt it was again getting around the St. Peter or the rules. I mean, I always heard it as a song that was when you talk about the two paths you can go on. To me, that was like again the cheap path, which I don't think that's. I think you should try to I think you should try to take the straight path, if that makes sense. The true path, not the workarounds, the straight path of the Alps or whatever your line. You're not trying to work around the system or buying your stairway up to heaven. But that song really.
You broke that song right down, haven't you, Cami?
Mm-hmm.
I see
Go
that.
in and look at the lyrics. I
know the song. I Mrs. Brainwash me with it. That and Everyone Hurts, and it's like, and that fucking Elton John song, There's No Sacrifice. I can't stand that. Early on, Elton John was fantastic. Come on, you know, the early stuff. Yeah. not Rocket, not
For
Rocket.
me, it ended with the Fox album. After the
Yeah.
Fox album, it all went way too commercial
You know,
and
Benny and the
way,
Jazz
way
days
too,
and all that.
early stuff.
Wicked.
I loved all of it. Like I said,
Oh,
up till
come on.
the 1980 album, the Fox. If you've
I'm
never
still
heard that,
dancing.
Martin,
I'm
I
still
wouldn't go dig
standing.
into it, dude. You'll feel the old Elton John in it if you
Oh,
don't know it. Yeah, it's it's just the song, the Fox. Go listen to it. You'll love it. You'll feel that old Elton and Bernie because Bernie came back for that album.
Yeah, go listen to the words to "Everybody Hurts Again," Martin. It's actually an inspirational song. It really is. Yeah, I love that one.
I don't go there.
You just tell life gets shitty sometime, but just hold on.
I know. I've been
It'll
decoding
get
songs
better.
all day, man. Radiohead do a lot of decoding. Black Sabbath, though, fuck me. A lot of their songs just spell out what this place is. No doubt about it.
War Pigs. That's one of my favorite. I listen to that probably more than any. That's considered
Devil
to me.
laughs
That's like
and spreads his wings.
Yeah, that's like heavy rock to me. That's about as heavy as I go. Is Sabbath. I don't go much heavier than them. I don't do.
I'm not a big. I like them.
There's not much heavier than Sabbath. I'm just saying.
Well, no, like Megadeth or like death metal. I don't do any.
No,
of that.
I was joking. I know what you mean.
What about Metallica?
Metallica.
You like Metallica?
Metalocalypse. Have you ever seen that cartoon?
Oh Lord, that's some heavily demonic stuff. I dropped that song in our chat here on the Zoom call if you want to grab it, Mark. And then there you can dig deep.
Oh, thanks. My son's been going into the Lovecraft stuff, Zack. HP Lovecraft stuff. He's still all flat earthy. He's saying, Dad, they're on about flat earth here. I was like, right, really? He said, yeah, this they put them into like some sort of audio books you can download. And he said they're all flat earth related in a lot of them.
Which one? I mean, God, it's been like probably late teens, early 20s since I've really dug deep into Lovecraft. I would love to go back. Tell him to point something out if you don't mind. You know how to get him in touch with me.
Well, he's been well into it for a while. He just raves about them, says they're fantastic. But he, like the Lord of the Rings thing, my son, like he's on about the new one. There's a break-off one, isn't there? One of the other books that he's one of my lot. He's Welsh, talk.
Well, I've seen a few different things.
Yeah, and it's like when Sorin was young and stuff. Yeah, and how it all happened with Sorin. It's supposed to be that, like,
the song they're in.
Yeah, Christopher Lee's dead, so he won't be in it. Oh, he was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So he wrote all that in the First World War trenches, or the essence of it. So it echoes, like, especially with the orcs, the mentality of the trench warfare that he must have suffered in it. The mud and the guts and the blood and all of that he suffered. So it went into his books. You can feel it with the orc battles. They're proper gnarly, aren't they? They're proper muddy, rainy, nasty. It's all actually one film, though, isn't it, guys? And they just
almost like. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's one film, and they broke it up into a few, didn't they? Because we couldn't sit in the cinema for like 7 hours or whatever.
Yeah. Well, the orcs, even their birth was almost like they were, they were born out of the mud, like almost like.
They were grown. They were hatched.
Well,
like
I've been watching.
Full grown, yeah.
They show you where the orc. This one, basically, the orc leader was partly human. I've just been watching this new series. My son's been watching on Amazon. Basically, it's a Lord of the Rings series because the girl who's a star in it is from Penarthur, not far from where I live. And they show you like the leader of the orcs. He hasn't gone all orc yet, and he's still got half a human face. So they started off human, the orcs. In this new tale that's on the Amazon at the moment.
Well, yeah, Tolkien, they had the regular orcs, and then they had the orcs that were elves that had fallen in battle, that were re-risen from the ground.
That sort of thing. It's like the Bork,
So like Humongulus or whatever you call it.
Yeah, as well.
Like look, Mike, Miles Phillips there in chat. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this place is amazing, man.
Yeah, man. Mad good, isn't it? We have great fun with it. Really good.
Yeah.
Best life. I was thinking about all the different lives I could have possibly had, and I'm thinking like, nah, the truth is where it's at, man. That's the best, but
yeah, for sure.
Isn't it? All the things you could have been.
Oh, I was thinking about that because I used to know so much about sports and all these other things, that I've done in my life where I spent a lot of time like focused in one area.
Yeah, well, I was geeking sports. I used to know all of the capacities of every stadium in Britain and the name of the grounds and when they won the FA Cup and all of these inane facts that I probably could still tell you now.
Yeah, I was bad. And it's like, man, if I would have been searching truth then, imagine what I would know now.
Yeah. Oh, did you used to have top trumps, Zach?
Top trucks.
Top trumps. They're cards that tell you about things, like speedboats. Top trump speedboats. Have you ever had these in America? Top trumps. No? Maybe a little bit before you.
No, I don't remember those at all. I used to be
they were massive in Britain.
Cards and stuff, all that, but I missed that, yeah.
Top trumps, they were called. Yeah, it was a card game, and everybody in Britain had them. And they used to tell you, basically break down all the schematics on, a speedboat. So I used to know, the cubic capacity, stuff that I'm never going to want to know in real life.
And I was real bad with baseball when I was young. I knew ERAs and batting averages of, every year that person played, I would know their batting average for Ryan Sandberg and Mark Grace.
I was like that. Do you know what they used to do with me in school? We had a big map of the world on the wall. So the teacher, for all the classes' entertainment, and they'd bring other teachers in from other classes to watch me. So he'd give me this wooden stick. So then basically he'd call off a destination or a capital or something, and I'd just go, point it out. Because it was easy for me at that time, but for them it was astounding. They go, say that again, Martin. So I'd say it again. They go, and they'd look at one another and think, why don't we know this? Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was good fun, that was. Entertain the class. Some things don't change.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's probably my favorite thing to do now. It's not so much, I love having Jaron around. Cami's Jaron.
Yeah.
It reminds me of my little brother. I have someone to pass knowledge to.
Yeah, he's super smart though, isn't he? He's
dude.
Smart. Yeah,
he's scary smart, dude.
Yeah.
His brain is just wired correctly.
My son's a bit like that. He just sets up weird shit all the time, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, did you just do that? It's like, fucking hell, it's crazy. He sets it up. But 3D printer's good though. I'm really enjoying that. It's good.
I've heard some amazing things about those. I've wanted one for a while now.
I paid under $100 for it.
Oh, nice! I know they used to be mad expensive when they first came out.
It's it was like a beginner's one, if you like. You can add to it, but he's put basically an upside down fish tank over the top of it, which fits weirdly well, perfectly, and it sort of just contains the heat because there's a hotbed, for the plastic.
Nice.
You got to keep it at a nice temperature, and it works just fantastic. So he writes a program, anything. So do you want to see all the flat Earth stuff you can have? It's brilliant. He's made me a flat Earth badge already with an azimuth on there, and he's going to work on some nice grinders. They're good, really good things. Lethal weapons. He's the one off Men of Stare at Goats. Yeah. When he sticks it in his hat.
Oh, you could find this laying on the ground. You wouldn't think anything of it.
I know. It still makes me laugh to think about it because it pans out when he has him in the eye, don't it?
Yeah. Oops, the eye.
So one of them stuff like that as well. Non-lethals are on the online. So he made plastic knuckle duster thing, which is really good. He thinks boy stuff. So it all ends up weaponry. That's a normal thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh yeah. If I would have had one of those when I was younger, all the things I would have been making.
I just sit there thinking of what we can make now. It's brilliant. The potentials is massive. You can just do anything, really.
Anything. You just think of it, and if you have enough plastic and a big enough machine, and you know how to.
He's printed off the entire British fleet from World War II, like the Hood, and the Cambridge and the Sheffields and the Royal Ark in model form, but they're on like Airfix models, and they're in the template. You pop them out. They print like that, and he's popping them out, and he's building the model, and they're only about this big of these little battleships and stuff like that. Just keeps him busy till the weather breaks, and we can go out, splash about on the water again.
Yeah, I can't wait to see some more video of you guys out there on the water. It looks like you guys are just loving it.
There's just no buzz like it, man. And it's like my childhood, and it's all my life, really. And it's a really comfortable place to be. It's down to the waves, the waveform, and it's very comforting. And then as soon as you spend a few days on the boat and you come back and you're not moving anymore, but your blood still is, you don't feel the same. It's like, I'm not really into this. I'd like to go back on the boat and move. And you just sleep so nicely as well, because it rocks you to sleep.
Right.
Yeah, it's lovely. It really is lovely. So, not so much in bad weather, though, gotta admit. I've had some hairy moments this year.
Oh, man. Bad weather's scary out on the water.
Oh, much love, Angela, in chat, my friend. Chat.
Take care, Angela.
Oh.
Welsh Dragon Medals on YouTube. Check it out.
Yeah.
Go subscribe.
Yay. So I wonder you haven't done any 3D printing videos. Maybe you will, because it's quite interesting. I'm sure loads of people want to pick up how it's done and that. I never had no idea how to do it.
Is he still smelting stuff, or is he...
well, it's not the weather. It's literally torrential. The weather out there at the moment is torrential rain. But yeah, he just collects through the winter, and then as soon as the spring comes, he's got the furnace, and he just smelts. He breaks down circuitry, and he'll put them through. He does electrolysis to break the silver off them. He literally does that in the kitchen, and then he does a few different ways of extracting the metal. But he ended up with all of that gold and all of that silver in ingots. And he's sold it all on eBay and managed to buy himself a yacht with shit out of broken computers.
That's fucking epic, dude.
No shit. No shit.
That is awesome, man.
But he put the work in. His hands are gone to leather. He just gets burns, and it's quite hazardous. With the metals and stuff.
Is no joke. That's real. That's man work there. Real man
proper
work.
man work. It is. He's very, very muscly, and that's because of it. But yeah. Hats off to him. Listen, he's so clever, right? He said, Dad, watch this. And he went outside. I thought, what's he doing? And he took a couple of branches from under the tree outside, and he brought them back up, took a photograph of him on his phone, and then he put on his eBay, log accessories for train sets, and he sold them within 5 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck? You just fucking sold sticks from the tree outside in 5 minutes. So easy, isn't it, Dad? And it's just it's like that. Wow. You just put them in a little pile and knitted them up. They were just sticks the same size for the back of a lorry or some cargo for Hornby train sets. And he wrote it up, tatted it up in the description, done a photograph, sold straight away.
Wow.
I know. True genius.
True genius, for sure.
Well, we managed to stick it out for 3 hours. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us tonight, Martin. It's
thank you, brother.
Always
Thank
a
you,
good time.
Absolutely, man. It's too long between. We need to do it more often and more. That way, don't have to be 4 and 5 hours.
So, in case people don't know, what time is your show going to be tomorrow?
Tomorrow night at 9 o'clock GMT, Flatter special show.
I did see Romanian Bear in here earlier asking if you still planned on hitting Flatter Day.
Yeah. We're on for Flatter Day, Bear brother. We're on.
I think that's 4 p.m. Eastern in the U.S.
Yeah, sounds right.
1 Pacific.
Yes, it would be epic, and it's not to be missed. We will bloweth minds, because that's what we do. And you believe me now, don't you? You believe me.
I was never a doubter.
Fucking know it.
Never doubted.
Blown my mind so many times.
Right.
That, how can I doubt it? When
Good,
Martin
isn't it?
says, when you say, dude, this is going to blow your mind, there is no doubt about it in my mind. And where it's like, okay, I'm going to sit down and strap in because I know I'm going to see something here I've never seen before.
If it blows my mind, then it's going to be good because I see a lot of stuff that other people are like, that's fucking blown my mind. And I'm like, that's shit. I know. Oh, much love, Axel. Well, thank you, everybody. Chat. Much love to you all.
Yeah,
Thank you, brother.
Oh,
Love you,
thanks,
love you.
guys. Love you guys. Night, Cami. Nostalgiki, as we say in Wales land.
Good night, Martin. It's always wonderful to talk to you. I miss you when we don't, so it's so good. Yeah.
We're going to try and do some sort of jump over the pond in the spring idea.
Oh,
I
that
love
would be
that.
Juggling with, because
amazing.
it's like I'm wound up. I want to Nora's in America and she's doing my head in because I'm not over there having fun and meeting all the boys and everybody else over there. I'd love to meet you all, Zack. We'd have so much fun.
I know, Martin. You might even get me to come if you come over on your boat. I'd probably go back with you. That's the only way I'd go to England. That's the only way.
Yeah, it's
Really?
not a straight hop across. You'd
Really,
have to go to
Zack?
the Azores first and then to Bermuda. Okay,
Well, me and Martin have been
That sounds
talking about
horrible.
this for years, getting me to England. But I don't do passports and all that kind of stuff. And I know Martin could smuggle me into Wales.
Shit, man. I own this. This is my country. I own this country.
That's what I'm saying. That's Martin
Well, this
land.
city, anyway.
Well, Martin, if you
am-
get over here, plan to stay, come over and stay and hang with us for a while. It's not fancy, but it's home, and we'd have. I mean,
me. I can sleep anywhere. I can sleep in a cupboard. I'd be happy.
Well,
yeah, this is so beautiful. Beautiful
there'll always be a
elevator.
cupboard. Always be a cupboard open for you here, Martin, and maybe even a
Thanks.
couch or a bed.
Just give me a quilt. Yeah, an American one. I bet they're extra soft and nice. They do good quilts. When I was a kid, the only good quality stuff was American stuff and British stuff. The rest, Chinese stuff, and I was sniffed at. Nobody gave a shit about anything. The Russian stuff was shit. European stuff was really sub quality, apart from the Germans were cranking out good cars. The rest of the world was shit. And it was always American stuff was best quality on earth. And
Capitalism, man. It
British
makes
stuff.
people
It's gone weird.
make good stuff. Yeah, it makes people make good stuff when it's capitalism because you're fighting for people's business. So you had to make a good product. Now they've learned I can make shit and just tell people it's good on the television and they'll believe it.
It was good solid stuff though, that fucking lasted. It was always well-made quality items.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because they were coming out of the Great Depression, I think, and that's how they needed things to be made, just in case things happened again. Yeah. Just like saving bacon grease, they were making things heavy duty, built to last, because they didn't want to have to buy 15 of them out throughout their lifetime. They wanted to buy one and be able to have it in case shit goes south. They've always got that. It's an actual asset, something that's worth value. They will always have it. It will always remain. Now they can make the same product 15 times over with the same materials. If you make it lighter, cheaper, softer, whatever it is, but you make it disposable, you can make 15 of them with the same amount of material.
Well, you don't want it to last too long. You won't be buying any to last too long.
No, there are studies on that with all of the stuff always on how long they last. And because, again, if it lasts too long, you don't need another one. That's not a good quality now.
That's why they haven't got tires.
It 120 years, I think. 1902, it was lit. And it's still burning. One in Boston and one in LA, maybe.
Shit, it's for real. Because they got, was it The Simpsons or something? A tire fire? Yeah, Simpsons. They got a tire fire there, haven't they?
Yeah, that's been burning forever. Yeah,
forever, right?
But yeah, these light bulbs have been burning for well over 100 years, never turned off. That was 1901 when that.
I seen one on. I was on a show about a couple of weeks ago with Andreas Xerxes, and he showed an exhibit in one of the museums in America, and it was a light was in a vacuum tube, and it'd been on since the 1800s, and he said it was a free energy method. They can't take it apart because basically it won't work anymore, and it's just been perpetually lighting itself. and it's in some museum. I'm not sure if it was the Smithsonian or whatever, but he showed the exhibit, he showed the article. I was like, fucking hell.
Well, how do they know that it wouldn't work anymore if they took it apart?
Well, this is what I was thinking when he's explaining. I was thinking, well, why don't they fucking reverse engineered this method? They're bound to have known. They got free energy anyway. We know this shit. I was thinking about the planes as well this week, how they got everyone over with the speeds that they're doing with the map. And, you know, they're definitely fucking jumping the speeds in the scramjet technology. And it's happening. It's happening. They're definitely doing that.
Oh, yeah, we wouldn't know. We wouldn't have a clue.
Oh, why would we? Why would they fucking tell us? We're the victim. Have you noticed that everyone in this realm, or almost everyone, except if maybe you fell in that water there, for example, in some freak accident, most people are victims of the state, aren't they?
And perpetually so, to the point that it's
the circumstances of the state, the matrix.
It's the power and the monopoly of violence that allows the state to create this ability for us to become slaves.
Yeah.
If you're living paycheck to paycheck and you get pulled over by the police, there's a really good chance you will not recover for years because you will have thousands in bonds. They're going to impound your car. You may never get your car back. You have to find a new car if you can get credit on another one or come up with the cash to pay for it outright. I mean, just that one move makes you a slave to your government. A slave. You have no choice but to continue working to be able to pay off all this stuff so that eventually maybe you can get out from underneath the weight of the government that had been put on you by these fucking road pirates. And then you can now live a life. But until then, you're just a slave to the government. Pardon my rant.
It is fucked up to that level.
Yeah, sorry.
That wasn't you that got pulled over, was it? I'm just wondering.
Can't beat a good Josh rant.
It's been a while,
oh, man.
It's been a while.
Passionate. He's like Braveheart. Freedom.
I just played that for Cami. We were doing when you did your best movie lines.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, I'm gonna do I'll show you in my best movies. Like,
I messed up.
No, but the Braveheart one where he does the whole long speech, lying in your bed many years from now, would you be willing to trade every day from this one to that? Oh man, I started tearing up sitting here with Cami. Every time
somebody went on about Old Yeller the other night on a hangout, that started me off. Almost as bad as your rabbit started me off. In the vlog, I was like, I'm having an Old Yellow moment. Yeah. You know? It's cruel. They make us go through this shit, guys. It's not why they do it. Making us sad. Still, I think we're all smashing it anyway. That's what I think. Power to the people. We're fucking well on it.
Oh yeah, life is what we make it.
Fuck yeah.
Make it good.
Fuck yeah.
Damn,
imagine
sorry, I lost my mic again. And I was gonna say, yeah, we were kind of just talking about that recently too, kind of claiming back happiness and this life and not letting all the fucking fear mongering and not just the fear mongering they do on a programming level, but our own self fear mongering we kind of were doing amongst ourselves with some of the stuff we're uncovering and seeing. And just got to remember, we number one, we did all this and created this place to come play, and number two, we're more powerful than any of that shit. So just hold on to the people you love and remember that's what we're here for.
Yay.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Epicness.
I love you, Martin.
Oh, yes, Zack, you know it.
Thank you.
We can get out of here at some point.
Yeah,
no,
we
it's caught the free here.
Yeah, let this man get some sleep. He's got a flatter day tomorrow.
Oh, don't bother me. I'll be all right. Honey. Don't get that much sleep.
Thank you all, everyone there in chats, multiple chats. Love y'all. Thank y'all so much. Liz, thank you for the video.
Oh, don't go, Angelus, Carson saying. Got homes to go to. This is how it works.
And I was up at 2 a.m. this morning.
Oh,
checking on
just
the
at
dog.
2 a.m.
And then the show started at 4 a.m. Then I went to work. Then I got home and we took the dog to the vet. And I came home and we started this show at 5:30.
So superhuman.
It's been a long day. Friday's always a long day for me.
And a show this morning, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh,
as much as I'd love to be able to stay.
It's stupid o'clock.
It's stupid o'clock. Yeah, it's a little early.
Yeah.
A little early. I just don't know that I've got it in me tonight.
Well, I'm going. All right, then. I'll see you all soon. Nice
brother. Love you,
Love you, brothers.
All right, Martin.
Sister.
Love you, brother.
Love you
And
guys.
you all in chat. See you soon.
Make sure you join us back here on Tuesday for more Ironworks.
Yes.
Also broadcast on truthfrequencyradio.com, tfrlive.com. Well, I say that, but I don't want to make any promises. Don't hold me to that. But that's where it's supposed to be. I've heard you can't find it on iHeartRadio, and maybe a couple other places. If not, just head on over to Rockfin or DLive or Odyssey or Twitter or Facebook. And if all else fails, you can find us on YouTube as well. But otherwise, you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Remember that we love you here at the Iron Realm. Be good. Be well. Bye-bye.
Be epic.